All right, good morning from the Philippines and wherever you are around the world. Welcome to this edition of An Eternity of Basketball. And before we get the show going, we'd like to remind everybody that our sister show, Who the Heck Are We, is featuring Franco Rulloda about the MMA life and values of coaching. And he's really one of the best people to talk about when it comes to the MMA scene here in the Philippines. That's episode 58 of Who the Heck Are We? And for Hang Time with Denise Dinsay, she will be featuring Chu. I'm Mr. Chu. I'm not even gonna try. But she has his guest by the name of Chu coming up. All right, but of course the Globally Ballin Network is also available here, social media, website, and the shows on YouTube. Check everything out. Go to globallyballin.com for that one. And of course, An Eternity of Basketball is also available on YouTube and Spotify. And please subscribe when you see that little bell thing when you go over to those platforms. And last and finally, Linktree/Globally Ballin. That's where you can catch everything about the Globally Ballin. Follow us on social media. And we are about to get underway. But before that, of course, thanks to our friends from Cuts Apparel. And these you can just get these customized company uniforms. Just follow them on their social media accounts, Cuts Apparel PH. All right, so we are about to get this show on the road. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, Noel Zarate po. Broadcasting from Region 1. Sid Ventura is from Region 4A. And Charlie Ventura is there at the NCR.
Charlie Ventura
katuloy. Charlie Cuna is there in the National Capital Region. How are you guys doing? I wasn't able to join last week, pero salamat that you're all with us right now for this very, very special episode. What episode number are we at, gentlemen?
91.
91. Episode 91. 9 away from a century already. With no less than one of the icons in Philippine basketball. You know him, of course, as well, perhaps one of the greatest coaches of our time. We'd like to bring in now Coach Joe Lipa. And thank you very much, Coach Joe, na napagbigyan nyo kami rito sa aming pag-anyaya sa inyo sa aming show.
Good morning, Noel. Good morning, Sid. Good morning, Charlie. You know, I should be one to thank you for welcoming me, for inviting me on your program. It's an honor to be a part of your program on the 91st episode of An Eternity of Basketball. Thank you.
Maraming salamat,
Coach. All of your fans.
Thank you, Coach.
Oo, maraming salamat. Marami po nag-aabang dito sa ating show na ito, itong episode 91 of An Eternity of Basketball. So, pasok na kaagad tayo dito sa history of basketball ng isang Joe Lipa. Coach Joe, kailan kayo nagsimula mahiligan itong sport na ito? How old were you when you started? And what made you love basketball?
You know, I was still a small boy, okay? I already played the game. Rather. Okay, I grew up in Makati, and Makati was one of the hotshots of Philippine basketball during that time. In Makati, there were a lot of great players who came from. There were a lot of sandlot courts, and at the same time, summer leagues or fiesta leagues, what you call them, and we played a lot in all of those leagues. Then, when I was in high school, you know. I was still a very small boy, so I just continued playing basketball with my classmates. Okay, it was in college when I started playing basketball.
Coach, yung early influences nyo, may mga iniidolo ba kayo mga malalaro nung nagsimula kayo mag-basketball? I'm sure during the time, alam naman natin, ang mga sikat sa national team nung time na yun, iniidolo nyo rin. So, sino yung mga early influences nyo sa basketball?
Well,
I think we're having some internet issues here with Coach Joe.
Yeah.
Isa sa mga bilib na bilib ko noon.
Yeah, we're losing it.
Okay. Am I still okay? We're still on.
Ayun. Sige, Coach.
Okay.
Medyo nag-stabilize na. Sige, Coach.
Yeah. Well, I was saying as I was saying earlier, one of my idols in Philippine in basketball when I was young was the late Charlie Bajon. Okay. Charlie was the image of Charlie was, you know, a tough guy in the court, but outside the court as a person, he was a very nice one. Okay? Then, mabait na tao si Charlie.
Oo,
And then,
yun na,
delayed ka, Carlos Loizaga, yan ang mga pinapanood ko palagi ng mga yon.
Coach,
Pag
si Charlie
sinasabi kasi,
Badion was
Charlie Badion, yung bicycle shot yun, di ba?
Yeah.
Saka, he was one of the original enforcers of Philippine basketball, di ba, Coach?
Yeah. Tsaka, alam mo, magaling talaga. He can shoot, okay? At saka ang lakas ng katawan ni Charlie. Okay? Kaya pag nakausap po siya ng masingsinan, makita mo na he had a golden heart.
Gentlemen, go ahead. Take it from here.
Sige, Sid.
Ako ba? Yeah, Coach, sige. How did you end up in UP, Coach? Were you offered a basketball scholarship, or you were just a student and then you tried out for the Maroons?
Well, I tried for the UP Maroons in 1963. But before that, I was already playing in the intramurals. Okay, then one of my teammates motivated me to try out for the basketball team, which I did, and fortunately, I made it in 1963. Our coach then was the late Nick Jorge, and then after 2 years, I have the Feli Pardo came in, and allow me to mention that Feli Pardo was a good strategist. I would say that he was ahead of his times. I remember the first time he came into UP, he came from UST, and he already has a reputation of being a good coach. At tinuturuan niya kami mag-give and go. Okay, lahat kami nanginginig, hindi namin masunod mga pasa. Biniro kami. Akala ko, punta ako dito sa UP, matatalino mga players. Hindi rin pala. Okay? That was the first impact of Feli Pardo on me. He was a good guy. He was a good strategist.
Nung naglalaro kayo, coach, sa UP, kayo isang point guard, tama?
No, kasi na 5'11 lang ako, Noel eh. Pero pinasa sentro na rin ako noon. At the same time, pinaglalaro ako ng dos. But from UP, I played for UP for 4 years. But on my third year with UP, I tried for the San Miguel Corporation team, and luckily I made it. Okay, our coach there was the late Ning Ramos. Coach Ning Ramos, I would say that he was a great motivator. Okay, alam mo, man of few words. He was a man of few words. Okay, but I remember noon, pag pagod ka na, you will just touch your belly. Sabihin, coach, konti na lang. And all of a sudden, bigla ka lumalakas. Okay, so
Magic.
He was a good strategist.
May magic din siya. Coach, kamusta yung performance, Coach, ng UP Maroons during your tenure there as a player?
Well, modest aside, we made good. Coach Nick Jorge did a very good job of molding us into a team. I think we almost played in the championship or in 1965 or 63. Okay? Ang mga we made good. Kung may round of 4 na siguro, ilang beses kami naging round of 4. And then also, for one game, I think for one game, we have an Peace Corps coach by the name of Gene Fraley, and he introduced us to the 1-3-1 zone, which during that time was a complete stranger to us. Okay? Maganda performance namin sa UP. Ang mga kasabay kong player naman, sila Danny Provenzo, sila Sonny Jaworski, sila mga nasa UST at saka sa UP.
Binantayan niyo sila, Coach? When you played UE and UST, did you guard Florencio and Jaworski?
Yes. Si Florencio, sinuna namin ng UST noon eh. Okay. And then, I remember, nabakit ko na nga kay Charlie, hindi pa uso yung mga acrobatic shot na yan, si Danny Florencio ginagawa na yon. And I remember he drove to the baseline coming from the right side, okay? Dinala yung bola sa kanan, tatlo kami taga-UP sumalubong. Ibinaligtad sa kaliwa, kinuha. And nakuha ng retrato yun, lahat ng mga taga-UP na sa kanan, siya na sa kabila. That was how great and athletic Danny Floresio was.
How about
And then,
Jaworski, coach? Kamusta siya nun?
Well, si Sonny noon was guwardia siya noon eh. Pero minsan kadalasan sumesentro. Okay? I remember one game, there was 1 year na UP was then 4-0 or 3-0 and UU was also 3-0. Okay? And they said that it was a game to watch. Okay, so, and then Coach Felipando prepared the team, and me personally. Ito gagawin mo dyan kay Jaworski, walang ginawa yan, kundi mag-inside-out dribble. Okay? To make a long story short, nagharap kami ni Jaworski, and to summarize, ginawa na ko ng 32. Scored 8 points. And then I remember going to that practice the following morning, Coach Pardo sila. Alam mo, Coach Pardo has a unique way of motivating people. At the top of his voice, he said, kala ko magaling ka, bobo ka rin pala. But I took it lightheartedly because I knew that his way of motivating us. He was a damn great coach.
32 lang naman, ano? At least hindi 40, ano?
You held him to 32. There's a couple of PBA players watching right now. Si Bernie Fabiosa, tsaka si Ray Lazaro. Kilala mo yung mga yan, coach. Nanonood sila ngayon. Pati na rin yung dating import ng Toyota na si Andrew Fields is also watching. Sabi niya, he never got to compete against you but he respects your accomplishments daw. Si Andy Fields ng Toyota. Nanonood.
Very good to him. Ray, sayang, hindi tayo nagsama ng matagal sa San Miguel, sa Shell. Okay? And then, Bernie, kumusta siya, Bernie? Okay? I hope all you are doing, I heard that all of you are doing great in the States. Keep it up. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paring Ray sina Miami, coach, at tapos si Bernie sina LA. Tama ba, guys?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Tama. Let's talk about yung ano.
Again, nag-player ko sa Shell si Ray.
Tama.
Si Bernie, I can no longer recall kung nagsama pa kami sa Manila Beer or what.
Pati, nagkukwentuhan tayo kanina, coach, na-mention natin si JB Yango. Nanonood din si JB Yango ngayon. So yung mga
JB,
former players.
JB, kumusta ka na? Sabi ko nga si Charlie, si JB Yango was a man of, alam mo, walang ka-effort maglaro. Okay? He was one of the headiest basketball players I've ever coached at napakabuting niyang tao. Nagsama kami for a while niya sa Nueva Ecija Patriots sa NBA. JB, kumusta ka?
Yeah. Yeah. Diba? So yan dito, reunion na naman ng mga former player. But let's talk about your San Miguel stint, Coach Joe, when you were a player, no, the SMC Braves that you got to play for. How was the experience over there? Naman, playing now at a higher level, no, from the UAAP, you move up to the Mika, no, nung panahon na yun, yung SMC Braves na yan. Was the competition much tougher for you? How did you perform in that setting?
Well, alam mo, ibang-iba laro sa Mika noon, okay? Physical na kagad ang laro. And I remember, we were playing the opening game. I think we played against Kuya Steel. And the late Noel Zadurata, nilapitan ako. Dahil kami mag-aarap si Jambol Nilapitan ako. Joe, huwag mo intindihin, parang UAP rin to ha. Okay, pagtala, binigyan ako sa chan.
Binanata ka na agad ha?
Pero naging kaibigan ko rin si Noel, napakabait na tao rin nun.
Parang welcome to the Mika ginawa sa'yo
No? Parang sabi, welcome to the Mika, Joe.
Jump ball pa lang walang patawad.
Naabutan nyo pa ba yung I have to ask this, ewan ko kung naabutan nyo si Ricky Palu nung naglalaro kayo sa San Miguel.
Hindi na. Ayaw ng next batch na pumalit sa amin Si Ricky Palu. Kasabay niya sila, if I'm not mistaken, sila Nonong Belmonte, sila Natividad. Makasabay ko na sa ang San Miguel noon was came from mostly UP and the FEU. Sa FEU at saka ENU. Galing na sa ENU sila Tony Arrieta, okay? Sa APU sila George Jones, sa UP may medyo apat kami noon. Pero ang mainstay namin sa San Miguel was Benjamin Valdez, napakagaling na player.
Okay.
Okay. So after all of this, Coach Joe, so player nga kayo, did you, when did you think about coaching? Nung time na yun, when did you think about kasi ang dami nyo na nadaanan, Feli Fajardo, Ning Ramos, you mentioned all of this, Nick Jorge, you mentioned all of these iconic names. Kailan pumasok sa iyo na pagkatapos ko maging player, gusto ko maging coach?
Well, unang-una, never did I dream that I'll be a coach. Well, Mitchell, Charlie. But I remember I was then still a student in UP playing for them. Yung a high school in Quirino needed a job, needed a PE teacher. And I was recommended to teach physical education at that school. And, alam mo naman mga PE sa high school, mga gymnastic, exercise, ginawa ko, tinuruan ko lahat mag-basketball yung mga bata. And then, my surprise, sabi nila sa akin, sige, meron nga interscholastic, meron pang interscholastic noon, yung sa Just Quezon City and Manila. I coached the team. And by sinuwerte naman kami, dahil in Quirino High School, pumasok kami. If I'm not mistaken, semi-finals or finals, kaya tuwa sila. But I was there only for, nagturo ako ng PE doon, but I was more of a basketball coach over there. Dahil hindi ko tinuruan mga exercise yung mga estudyante, tinuruan ko mag-basketball. And then,
right.
Yun ang calisthenics nila.
Okay, in 1981, I was following up the registration of my niece. Okay, I went to UP and I saw Dr. Art Isidro. He was then the sports director of UP. And I asked him, and kinumusta ko siya, kumustahan. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, sabi sa akin, Coach Dave Perez, yung predecessor ko, will be leaving for Samoa. Please coach UP. Sabi ko, I always call him Tol, alam mong basketball alam na basketball ko, 19 kopong pa eh. Hindi ako pwede, hindi ko na siguro kaya mag-coach. Hindi, Tol, kaya mo yan. Hindi, Tol. But if you like, I could talk, our best bet right now to coach the UP team was the late Port Acuna. Okay. Sige, Tol, hindi ko kilala si Port. Kausapin mo si Port. So I talked in Port. Port was a rookie on my last year in UP. Umayag naman si Port na mag-coach sa UP until bigla nagkaroon that unfortunate incident. Okay. Binalikan ako ngayon ng UP director. O coach, pinagbigyan na kita, Tol. Baka pwede mo nang hawakan ng UP. Sabi ko, teka muna. May isa pa ako kakausapin para mag-coach sa UP. He was then also very active in TV. Kaya sa akin ng sports director, Tol, tama na, pinagbigyan na kita. Wala na tayong panahon. Okay? Bigos na lang mag-opening na UAAP. Sinabi ko sa kanila, okay, isang kondisyon lang, 1 year lang. Dahil wala tayong coach ngayon. Okay? To make a long story short, I got the job. That was the start of my coaching in UP in 1981. Alam mo, walong laro kami na sa UAAP. O di, 6 na eskwela, 10 laro, 10 laro kami. Ang pinanalo ko, 2 lang, yung sa Chamba pa. Okay?
Grabe naman.
Coach,
Chamba pa.
Before that, Coach, wala ka prior kahit assistant coach anywhere, wala kang experience? Or...
Well, alam mo, if I would recall yan, mga 70s Sigfrid Guerrero, okay, he was then coaching UP. Sigfrid was a fraternity brother of mine. Teammate ko, both in Mica and UP and San Miguel, and aside from being a good friend, sabi sa akin, Tol, baka pwede mo ako tulungan dito sa UP, lalong-lalo nga, he was then the assistant coach at the national youth team, pupunta kami sa Brazil, walang maiiwan dito. Sige, Tol, assist kita ng gusto, tulungan kita. But I was not officially designated as an assistant coach or what, or a member of the coaching staff. I was there as a friend, okay? And he left for Brazil, and I coached the UP team for one year during that year.
kumbaga in the modern day language, you were an active consultant. Ganun yung terminology natin ngayon.
Dahil mas magaling. hindi naman siguro, kundi a good friend in basketball.
Di ba? Ganun ngayon ganun yung mga tawag ngayon, coach. Di ba yung mga tumutulong sa mga team active consultant. Coach, may bumabati rin sa'yo, ha? May bumabati rin sa'yo si Jimmy Manansala. Sabi niya, "Good morning, coach. Malaking utang na loob ko kay Coach Joe. He helps me a lot when I was playing with Shell. Thanks again, coach. Nice to see you. Keep in shape and God bless you always." Sabi ni Jimmy Manansala.
Thank you, Jimmy. Alam mo, naging player ko niya si Jimmy Shit. Iba rin klaseng bata maglaro. Lakas ng katawan yan. Okay? Jimmy, at saka yung anak mo nagla-coach ngayon, I wish both of you the best of luck.
Yeah. That would be Gino, yung anak ni Jimmy na nagko-coach ngayon. Balikan ko lang, coach, yung kinoach yung high school team na yon, yung ano lang, yung interim coach kayo doon. Ilang taong kayo noon? Yung sa Quirino?
Sa
yung tinulungan mo yung high school team na yun sa Quirino?
Or 17 years old. Yeah.
Grabe, 18, 17. With your entire career still ahead of you, pero naisipan nyo na yung coaching. When did it finally sink sa iyo na ito na yung magiging path nyo sa basketball, yung pagiging coach?
Pero nakwento nga si Noel kanina, never did I dream that I'll be a coach. I became a coach by accident. Dahil doon ako sa UP. And then, maybe dadagdag ko sa story yun. Sa 8 laro, sa 10 laro, 2 pa pinanalo ko, isa chamba. And I don't like to quit as a loser. I don't like to leave anything without me contributing anything. So, I was the UP director, okay? Athletic director, Dr. Artego Isidro, and I asked him, "Tol, ikaw naman nakiusap sa akin noon. Ako naman nakiusap siya ngayon. I need 1 more year." Okay.
Okay.
And that was in 1982. And we're fortunate to play in the
Nagdadrag ba?
That year. The rest was history. I recall, maybe this is one of the lessons that I like. Hello? Nawala tayo?
Yeah. Sige, coach.
Sige lang, coach. Sige lang. Bumalik na.
Maybe this is one of the things that are the lessons that I like to impart to my fellow coaches, especially the young ones. Alam mo, ang buhay ng coach napakahirap. Okay? As the saying goes, coaches are hard to be fired. Okay? And the coach is always as good as his last game. Okay? Every game, you'll be under the microscope. And I remember in 1981 or 82 rather, there were a clamor, a lot of criticism from some sectors of the UP community, and they were asking for my resignation. Okay, and one morning I got a call from the office of the UP president, the late Senator Angara then, and he said, he was my fraternity brother. He's a Sigma Rho 1. Sabi siya, "Brad, can you drop by my office?" Punta ako sa opisina niyan. Immediately, "Okay, Brad, upo ka muna, Brad." Sabi ko, "Brad, hindi na ako magtatagal. I just like to tell you, Brad, na I'm ready to file my resignation. If that's what some people are asking."
Unahan nyo na.
Sabi sa akin ni Senator Angara, "Coach Joe, I did not invite you to talk about that topic. Okay? I did not accept your resignation. Okay? And I have full trust and confidence in you. I like you to continue coaching." Those are the words of the Senator to me. At saka isa lang pa tapos, pati words namin, tinignan sa akin, "Brad, ibig ko lang malaman, kaya mo ba?" Sabi ko, "Brad, di ko kunin yung trabaho ito kung di ko kaya." Okay? That was 1992, and the rest is history. Yun ang ibig ko part sa mga young coaches. Alam mo tayong ang coaches, you should be mentally and emotionally strong. Huwag tayong balat sibuyas. You have to learn how to fight. Dahil alam mo, there are a lot of Filipinos who are armchair coaches. Okay?
Yes.
Lahat yan,
Totoo.
nice ka. Okay? And be prepared for that. Kung kaya mo sagutin mo. Ngayon, kung hindi, labas mo sa kaliwang tenga, labas mo sa kanan. Okay? And you give it to them. It means that they are watching you, and they love the game, and you should welcome them. In fact, I would say that one of the things that motivated me a lot to keep on studying, and until now I was still studying the game, are my critics. Okay? Because most critics, they'll never see the good side of what you did.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I agree. I agree.
Pakinggan mo ng konti kung ano sinasabi nila. Kung tama, teka muna. Kung ayaw na iyakan admitin, sige, tama kayo, mali ako. Pag-aralan mo nila. Ngayon, kung tingin mo naman, mali sila, teka muna, pare. Give me time to explain. Ganito yan. You know, that's why I say the art of communication. Okay? Is learn how to communicate. And at the same time, for you to be able to communicate effectively, you should learn the art of listening. You know? Coaching niya, ito sa siguro masabi ko sa mga young coaches, develop the art of listening. Okay? Because communication is 70% listening and 30% communicating. And when you communicate, be sure that you communicate loud and clear. Okay.
Yes.
Agree.
I agree. 100%. Ganun, grabing ano. Pero again, yung coaching was not easy for you at the start, ano? Syempre, wala pa kayo masyadong basis in terms of may napanood nyo kung paano ginagawa ni Feli Fajardo, ni Jorge, ni Ning Ramos. Pero how did you develop your own philosophies as a coach? Did that come much later? O nung maaga pa lang, meron ka ng philosophy on how you wanted to approach the game?
You know, during that time, alam ko na konting-konti, alam ko sa basketball eh. Kaya ko lang ituro split post, give and go, man-to-man, okay? Sabi ko masyado akong kulang, okay? For me to improve as a coach, I should study more. Now, during that time, the coach of the national team was the coach Ron Jacobs, okay?
Yes.
And Ron was a good teacher, he was a good tactician, and I would say that he revolutionized the game. So I asked permission from him if I could watch his practice, and there were a lot of things which he was doing which I cannot understand. Okay, I give credit to Coach Ron. He introduced the motion offense. Alam mo, nang introduce mo, I think Coach the ambassador Danding Kawang, who brought in Ron Jacobs here. Alam mo kami yung mga coach nang introduce ni Ron Jacobs in motion offense, lahat kami naangay. Teka muna, anong klase to? Okay. He revolutionized the game. And then watch him. Okay? And then I studied a lot. I read a lot of books. Okay? I watched games. But sabi ko, meron pa akong mga tanong sa sarili ko. Okay? And then in 1983, after losing the championship, my fellow Sigmaroa sabi, siguro Joe, pumunta ka sa stage. And they arranged and financed my trip largely, okay, to go to Indiana. And that I think that was in 1984 or 85 or 85, I can't recall. It was arranged by Attorney Ojiabe, who was also Sigmaroan, and he was who graduated from University of Indiana. Okay, and so I went to Indiana, and I was fortunate to observe the techniques of Coach Bobby Knight. Well,
Yes.
now I would say that their techniques were more or less familiar to me because of my readings, because of watching the NBA. But what surprised me a lot is the way he plays games, mental games. I think he was more of a leader and a good strategist rather than a teacher. Okay, he was a good strategist, a good motivator. Okay, and ibang klase rin siyang salita dahil pagdating mo, his presence.
Coach, we have a guest. Speaking of
Mga dati mong player.
one of your coaching disciples is here.
Yeah,
Somebody has dropped in.
Ricky.
Somebody's here to say hello. Somebody wants to say hello.
Ay,
Coach Ricky, nakamute po kayo.
Nakamute yata kayo, Coach Ricky.
Ayan. Come on,
Ayan,
Coach
ayan.
Ricky.
Okay na.
Hi, Sid. Noel, and Charlie. Coachy, kamusta?
Okay lang, Ricky. Sana ba matapos itong pandemic para makita-kita na tayo.
Oo nga eh.
Coach Ricky, ano mga memories mo being under Coach Joe when you played college ball?
Masyadong madami yan at a lot of them cannot be discussed in public eh. Pero I played for Coach Joe a long time sa UP when he was starting out actually as a coach. But one thing I will never forget was we were in a game, an important game against UST. I think this was in 1984 or 83. Pido Orencio then was the number one player of UST, and the coach of UST then was Coach Joe's friend, Charlie Badion. Anyway, the score, we were down 1 point with less than 20 seconds to go, I think. And then Eric Altamirano got his 5th foul. So Coach Joe went up and down the bench looking for someone to sub for Eric. So he used the whole 1 minute to make a decision. He wanted to sub and insert Moncelis, but Moncelis was suited but did not play because of high fever. Eh ako naman, gusto ko maglaro. I hadn't played the whole game. Ako naman, gusto ko maglaro. Linuwit ko yung ulo ko sa bench. Nakita ni Coach Joe, ay ka rito, pumasok ka, Ricky, sabi niya sa akin. And I went inside. So Coach Charlie Badion saw that I was ice cold from the bench. And they were up 1 point with less than 20 seconds. I could hear him shouting my name and telling his players to foul me. So immediately when play resumed and I got the ball, I was smothered by at least 2 players. So I was fouled. It was a penalty situation, 1-1. And during that time, pwede mag-wave ng free throw. Yung time na yun, ha? And then immediately, I looked at Coach Joe. Siyempre, grabe nervous ko eh. Wala pa akong kapawis-pawis eh. I immediately looked at Coach Joe and I gestured to wave the free throw. And then he shouted at the top of his lungs, "No, God damn it, Ricky, you take the shot. You can do it." So I had to do is go to the free throw line and take the shot. Grabe ang punta ko, para akong suka nun sa nervyos. So fortunately, I made my first shot and that tied the score.
Okay.
Then I missed my second shot. So we ran down and played defense. We made a stop. And then immediately when we got the ball, I was fouled again by the same person. I'll never forget his family name. His family name was Yu. Y-U.
Okay.
So I was sent again to the free throw line. I did not look at Coach Joe anymore dahil malakas na loob ko. So I took the shot, made my first, missed the second, then we ended up winning the game by 1 point. I will never forget that. I will never forget that because I really did not want to take the shot. Then what's funny was the next day in practice, Coach Joe calls me in his patented scowl. He calls me, "Ricky, come here." Sabi, "Coach, bakit?" Galit pa eh. Bakit wala na ako mabiling dyaryo kaninang umaga? Hindi ko mag-gets. Sabi ko, "Coach, nakabili akong dyaryo." Yun nga, inubos mo yata dyaryo dahil puro pangalan mo nandun eh.
pero coach, 50% from the line, ha?
Oo.
2 out of 4.
Tanong ko lang kay Coach Joe. Coach Joe, what did you see in Ricky Dandan for you to allow him to take the free throws cold off the bench?
Well, alam mo, Mel, it's one of the incidents in my life which I'll never forget. Okay, naghahanap ako na yung titira sa free throw noon eh, no? Nakita ko si Ricky nakatingin sa akin. Parang kahit tumingin sa akin. "Ricky, halika, pasok ka." Okay? Yung Ricky story nyo, nadinig ito nga, fouling niya eh. Tapos papalapit, pero lumapit siya, "Coach, word natin." Alam ko noon, sinayasak pa siya eh. With the hand gesture, "Tira mo." Okay? And, okay? "Coach, tira mo." Okay, shoot mo. Okay, and he made good. Okay, and isa sa mga hindi ko makalimutan incident sa buhay ko, sa coaching career ko.
Very important sa philosophy niyo, Coach Joe, yung trust, especially with the players from the stars to the bench warmers. How did you develop this philosophy as you went on with your career?
Oh, what question? What? Repeat your question.
Sorry, Coach, yung pag-develop ng trust sa mga players niyo, from your superstars to all the way to the bench warmers, players who had not played during the game. Yung trust factor niyo as a coach, how did you develop this as part of your philosophy? Yung pagiging trusting niyo sa players niyo?
Una, right through the tryouts, you should make clear your philosophy. Okay? Okay? Alam nyo, ang coach may blueprint for them to what would be for a plan for his team. Maring magaling kayo, pero hindi kayo makukuha. Ngayon, maring hindi kayo masyadong magaling, but you fell to the puzzle and you will make it. So, doon pa lang magkakaroon sila ng tiwala sa sarili nila. And then, when I was younger, I would say, I blow hot, I blow cold. Okay? Sometimes I'll be harsh on you, and sometimes I'll be cold on you. So, alam mo, ang isa sa mga talagang, whom I would say, was mentally tough. And maybe playing for UP was a great attribute to that, was Benji Paras. Okay? I remember Benji Paras, he was then being recruited by a lot of teams. I think when I first talked with Benji, kasama pa kita, di ba, Ricky? And then, I remember noon, dalawa lang sinabi ko kay Benji. Benji, within my limited capacity as a coach, if you join me, I will work hard for you to be the best coach the best center in the band, even for me. And then second, you'll have a good college education. Dalawa yan, Benji. My personal commitment to you and good education. Okay? Di na kami nakita ni Benji dahil during the time he was heavily recruited. Then all of a sudden, dumating si Benji sa UP. And everybody was surprised dahil di namin nasaan na makakuha namin si Benji. Okay. Ako naman, kunwari, I hid my excitement. Okay, let's jog around the gym. Okay. Kasi umuulan so tumatakbo ng gym. I remember, sa mga sinabi kagad sa akin ni Benji, Coach, sabi ng lola ko, bawal daw sa akin tumakbo. Ganun ba? Dito, ako. Okay? And then, another 2 rounds, sabi sa Coach, sabi sa akin ng doktor, bawal daw akong tumakbo ng ganito kahaba. Dito, ako albularyo. Okay? And then, may pa mo yung recall, natatawa lang ako doon. And then, when I was coaching the youth team, lahat kasi mga rookies yung mga yun Okay? And I remember na baka ako pag nakita ng mga Chinese, na pagkatapos nila si Ring, nila makita yung print, kundi makita nila kili-kili ng mga Chinese, sabi ko, they should be prepared mentally tough. Okay? And there should be one who should be a leader in mental toughness. And since Benji was then we knew each other personally, okay, I choose Benji. Okay? And during the time, ewan ko matatandaan pa ni Ricky to, I was so harsh on Benji. Okay? I never called him Benji. I always call him number 14. Okay? Instead of calling Benji, number 14. Okay? Then we were running drills. He was on the left side of the court. Okay? Magkakaroon ng mali sa right side of the court. Ang sermon ako si Benji pa rin. Okay? Until one night, he approached me, Coach, kala ko mahal mo ako. Hindi mo pala ako mahal. Okay? Ganito mo ako, Coach. Okay? And I know he was almost down Zarate. Sabi, Coach, kala ko mahal mo, pero hindi naman ako nagkamali. Dito, ako mumura, ako sisigawan mo, Coach. Okay? I gave him a tap on the shoulder. Now, Benji, you are prepared to lead this team mentally. And true enough, he led the team emotionally and mentally on that youth team.
Hmm.
Ricky,
Okay, okay yun.
ka doon, di ba? Kasama ba kita doon?
Sa
Coach
youth
Ricky?
team, Coach Ricky, you're still
Oo,
there?
Yeah.
I remember, pag nagagalit ka kay Benji noon, nasa Rizal Memorial tayo, we were in the national team. You'd send him to the dugout and you'd say, go to the dugout, Mr. Paras, and talk to the mosquitoes. Alam mo sa Rizal Memorial, di ba?
Ayun.
Sid,
Hanggang
you have a
ngayon daw,
question?
hanggang ngayon nakipagkwentuhan pa sa mosquitoes daw si Benji.
Okay.
Sige, Sid.
Naging
Okay, very
Go ahead.
briefly lang kasi I have to temporarily leave lang. Coach Ricky, you also became a coach, and you got your coaching stint under Coach Joe. I mean, you got started in coaching under Coach Joe. Ano yung mga pinaka-valuable coaching lessons that you picked up from Coach that you later on applied in your own coaching career?
Oh, number one, to this day, Coach Joe would always tell me to make time for creative thinking. Because Coach Joe, then and now, still always wants to innovate. So that's the number one thing that Coach Joe would always remind me, to give yourself time, be sure to be creative in what you are doing. But what I remember most, when I was going to start as his assistant coach with the Philippine Sardines, he asked me this question. Sabi niya sa akin, Ricky, bago ka mag-coach, sagutin mo muna to. Okay ba sa'yo na pag ang team nanalo, magaling ang player? Pag talo ang team, bobo ang coach. Kung okay sa'yo yan, mag-coach ka.
Yeah.
Tama.
That's a nice
Tama.
philosophy.
Ganun naman palagi, no? Ganun talaga pa. Coach Ricky, I know, you've had a long relationship with Coach Joe Lipa. Before we let you go, no? Thanks for dropping in, by the way. But before we let you go, baka you have a message for Coach Joe. Something you can tell everyone about him and a message for him.
Coach Joe continues to work on, continues to innovate, some playing philosophies, and I just wish that we can sit down, see each other, and talk about that again. We tried some of that when I was coaching Colombia, and he was my team manager. We tried some of that to a certain extent, little success there, konti lang, but that's only the tip of the iceberg, when it comes to Coach Joe. Pero Coach, pag na second bakuna na ako sa August, right after that, dayuhin kita dyan at mag-crokis tayo.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Ricky, and thank you so much for being a player, being an assistant coach of mine, and being a part of my life. Thank you so much, Ricky. Okay? God
Okay,
bless you and good luck.
God bless, Coach.
Thank you
Salamat,
very
Coach
much,
Ricky.
Coach Ricky.
Thanks, Coach Ricky. Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
for accepting our invite.
Thank you. All right. So Sid is going to drop out for just a few moments. Coach, babalik na si Sid maya-maya at kasabay din kasi natin ng Olympics. Ewan ko kung may update na tayo kay
Babalik ako.
EJ Obiena.
Sige.
Delikado si Obiena, pero I'll update you later.
Okay. Sige, balikan mo kami, Sid.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Babalik ako,
Coach.
Coach.
Okay. You mentioned, Coach, the word recruitment, no? Kanina, you mentioned it. But let's talk about recruitment. During that time when you were in UP, 82, 83, 84, leading up to the championship, how was recruitment like? How did you get all these guys to play for you? The guys who eventually
Mga Beta
brought
Boys.
us the championship. Why was San Beda a hotbed for UP Maroons? What happened there?
Okay. You see, Charlie, before I answer that question, allow me to mention,
Yes.
okay, the recruitment landscape now in college basketball is entirely different. Okay.
Mhm.
I remember when I was still coaching in college and I was recruiting a player, ang sasabihin mo lang, good college education, okay, and a little allowance. Okay? Ngayon, pag sinabi mo sa player, coach, allowance, coach, kala, coach, sweldo. Okay? And then, maybe we could arrange for a room for you in the athletes' quarters. Coach, kala ko condominium. Okay? And then we'll give you transportation allowance. Coach, wala bang kotse? Okay? Ibang-iba na recruitment landscape ngayon. Okay? Now, going doon talagang pinag-usapan pa rin is, will they learn from you? Will they value education? Okay? Ngayon, ibang-iba na. Okay? And it's sad for Philippine basketball. Okay. Now, when it comes to recruitment policies, okay, I still believe that most players would go to a basketball school or to a basketball team, which is a good basketball program, and one wherein they could learn, improve as a player and as a person.
Yes.
Right.
Agree. Well, of course, coach, nung early 80s nga, nung pumasok nga kayo sa UP, recruitment was also key in getting these players na kumbaga magiging cornerstone ng eskwelahan. How did you wind up getting those guys from San Beda? Yung Altamirano, yung Magsanok, how did you wind up getting those guys?
You know, somebody told me, Coach, panoorin mo yung dalawang point guard ng San Beda, si Ronnie Magsanok at si Eric Altamirano. Okay? And I watched them and I was really impressed with the two. Okay? And then, pinausap ng dalawa and they told them that UP and me personally is interested in you. We'll welcome you to the team. That's it. And both came. Okay? I did not do any sales speech or what. I just told them that UP is interested in them. For athletics, and they saw their talents, okay, their dedication to the game. And I would say that I work hard to provide some skills for them.
Right. It wasn't just them. We also got a few other players from San Beda later on. Si Ebet Wenceslao is also from San Beda. And then later on, si Benji Paras from San Beda as well. Were Ronnie and Eric factors in bringing in those other former Red Cubs into the UP team?
You know, Charlie, the first San Beda player I coached who went to UP was Mons Ellis.
Yes.
Okay. And Mons Ellis made good in his stint with the UP team. And then came Don Di Roque.
Okay.
Yes.
And Don Di Roque, I think, also made good in the team. And I think that started the attraction of the San Beda players to the UP team. And then nga, pumasok na sila doon Salvatera, sila Joey Mendoza, and ultimately si Benji. And then, after Benji Paras, pumasok na sila. Sila Ebet Wenceslao.
Yeah, nga. So, ang dami parang nag-flock yung mga bidista to UP.
Yeah.
Well, actually, hindi lang mga San Beda. Oh, pati ito, coach, may na-recruit kayo taga Lasal Green Hills. Pag nag-clear yung kanyang internet, papapasukin na natin siya.
Ayan na, ito, si Joey. Coach Joey, naka-mute po kayo.
Naka-mute yata
si Coach.
Joey.
Ayan.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Joey.
Pasensya na, I'm on my way to the graduation of my daughter.
Oh, wow, okay.
From the UP College of Law. Cum laude, Coach.
Yeah.
Coach Joe, cum laude.
Ang bilis ng panahon, ano? UP College of Law, Joey.
Cum laude, Coach, sa College of Law, yung panganay ko.
Grabe, congrats.
Ayos yan,
Congrats, Joey.
Baka galingan niya sa bar, kamo. Aral na.
I'm sure. Great to see Coach Joe.
Go ahead.
What's your most vivid memory of Coach Joe Lipa, Coach Joey?
One thing that I will never forget that Coach taught me was hindi basketball is to be a good adult, to be a good man, no? Where yun din ang tinuturo ko sa mga anak ko. Si Coach Joe, sabi ko, he was a disciplinarian. He disciplined us even though we see him 6 to 8 in the evening. Pero alam mo yung commitment mo to one thing and being always on time, yung mga maliliit na bagay na ganyan na sometimes we forget to teach our children. Si Coach Joe, in-input talaga sa akin yan. Yan ang hindi ko makakalimutan na tinuro sa akin ni Coach Joe.
So non-basketball, Kasi sa basketball, given na yun, di ba? Siyempre, dahil coach yan Pero sa yung buhay, The boy, Coach Joe, yun yung sinasabi ko sa iyo kanina eh. As a coach, you touch so many lives, no? And you pass on a lot of your learnings to the guys that you coach and you mentor. Ano naman yung memories mo about Joey Guanyo, Coach Joe?
You know, I remember, if you would recall, Joey was a member of the youth team. Okay.
Yes.
And alam mo, we are prepared for the China will zone us. Okay. And we took in Benji going to the team as a shooter. And I remember that there was a game na nagtataka mga tao bakit si Joey nasa loob pa. Okay. But sabi ko, Joey, diyan ka lang, hang on. And then I called for a timeout. And I think it was a game against Taipei. And I told Joey, give the team 2 3-point shots. You know, he did that. Give the team 2 3-point shots. He gave the team 5 3-point shots.
Yeah.
Okay. And we beat Chinese Taipei. Dahil maganda yung zona nila. And then against China also, alam mo, matalinong player si Joey. Nagkamali ako, kala ko matalino, hindi rin pala. Okay? Okay? And sa depensa namin, most of the time, he will play defense against a good player para gamitin niya utak niya. And then in the zone, we always assign him in the low post. Yung wiper yung kailan talaga mabutak yung player doon. And nagkakamali ako, si Joey palagi inaasay ko doon.
alam mo, Noel, attorney, when they recruited me from LaSalle, actually, nag-tryout ako kay Coach Joe. The first practices that I attended, first 2 practices, on the third, ayoko na bumalik. Sabi ko, di na ako magbabasketball, sa hirap mag-ensayo.
Yeah.
Pero when they recruited me, when I graduated from LaSalle, I wasn't really a 3-point shooter or a shooter from the outside. No, I played post, I played inside. Pero when yun nga yung sinasabi ni Coach Joe, when the youth team arrived, he needed a shooter. Kinonvert niya ako sa shooter. So sabi niya, layuan mo yung range mo. And I did, and he saw in me that I could do it, and I did it. So that's the kind of person Coach Joe is to my life.
There was one time nga lang, Coach Joey Guanyo, Coach Joe, na nagkaroon ng 3 Joey sa team. Yun, medyo legendary yung kwentong yun. So, paano yung Coach Joe? Nakakalito, no? Meron kang Joey Valdez, meron kang Joey Guanyo, tapos meron kang Joey Mendoza. How did you differentiate the 3 Joeys?
Tama yan, sa Philip Sardis yan eh. Okay? Si Joey Valdez, tawag ko doon, Jobal. Si Joey Mendoza, si Joey, I call him straight Joey. Tapos si Joey Guanyo, yun na. Tapos Joey yun eh. Pang-apat pa ako.
Kompleto.
Joey Guanyo and Jobal.
Yun.
Yeah.
Pero
pag galit si Coach sa akin, number 6 lang tawag sa akin yan.
Kanina, kunento nga nila, number 14 lang si Benji.
Kami dalawa, pag galit niya, number 6 lang tawag sa akin. Hoy, number 6!
Bakit ganun, Coach? Ba't nagiging numero yung mga player mo pag pinapagalitan mo?
Well, you see, I always believe na, alam mo, one of the sweetest words to an individual or a person is his name. Okay? Alam mo, pangalan ko, Joey, tapos tatawagin mo ako number 6, okay? And, it hurts. And you're building and working on him mentally. I think these are the things that a coach should learn. How to play mental games.
Ayos yan. Coach Joey Guanyo, Coach Joey Guanyo, kailan full name din, ano? Para ganun din. Thanks for dropping in, Coach. And all the best. Galing, congratulations sa daughter ninyo. Cum laude pati.
Thank you, attorney. Thank you.
And
Great to see Coach Joe.
Hope to see her in the profession very soon, no?
Si Noel, sawa na ako sa mukha ni Noel eh. Si Coach Joe, I'm so glad I saw him today.
Okay, thank you, Joey. Hope to see you again.
Coach Joey, before I let
More
you go,
power, Coach. Stay safe, Coach. Stay safe.
Sige. Ingat. Alright, so Coach Joey Guanyo nga doon. Ang dami yung nadaan ng mga players sa coach na naging coach din eventually. Was that because of the way you handled them and that they chose to be like Joe Lipa or talagang nagkataon lang na ang dami mong players that eventually became coaches?
You know, I would say naman na hindi naman siguro, okay? Maybe they became coach because they love the coach, they love the game. Or maybe they've got good fundamentals in coaching, especially technically, na siguro sinasabi nila, magagamit ko to. Maybe that's what is motivating them to be a coach. But I would say na wala naman ako in-influence masyado.
No, kasi dalawa natin naging bisita, Coach Ricky Dandan, Coach Joey Guanyo, di ba?
That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, si Joey Guanyo is part of the PBA now, no? Part of the committee. And in fact, I did see him just the other day nung nagko-cover ako ng PBA. Pero Coach, you did get started on the discussion about Bobby Knight earlier, no? Going to Indiana. Can you continue that story? Tell us a little more about that situation and what you took away from your stint, because people call you a disciple of Bobby Knight and
or the
really
Bobby Knight of the
that?
Philippines.
Yes. So just a little more before we take our halftime break. We'd like to hear more about that Indiana experience.
Okay, you know, allow me to tell you a good story about that. You know, I went there on a budget to Indiana, to the States. Okay, and I inquired from sa area ko nag-base. I inquired kung magkano transportation, airplane fare going to Indiana, Bloomington to be specific. And then, oops, teka muna, kakapusin ako ng allowance. Okay, so I took the Greyhound bus. Okay, and it's a good, I think, no less than 48 hours travel from LA to Indiana. Okay. Dumating ako sa Indiana, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, winter na, ang lamig. Okay. I was carrying my bag. Okay. Tsaka yung naka-jacket, sports jacket lang ako. Okay. I went to the International House, which was also arranged by my fraternity brother. Okay, pagdating ko doon, 2 o'clock in the morning, walang katao-tao. I had to knock on so many windows. To make a long story short, the following morning, I went to the gym. And Bobby Knight told me, well, I requested somebody to fetch you at the airport yesterday, 2 days ago. You were not there.
Okay, we seem to have some lag issues again.
Oo nga.
Sabi ko, Coach, I just changed.
We're missing this
Hindi ko
part.
masabi, Coach, okay? Okay ba? Can you hear me?
Okay na. Sige,
One more
okay
time,
na ulit,
Coach. One more time. Pakiulit yung part na yun, nung tinatanong sa'yo ni Bobby Knight na, may pinasundo ako sa airport, ba't hindi yata kayo nagkita?
Kaya naiya ako sabihin na, Coach, nag-reon bus lang ako, nakakaya naman, baka sabihin, pupunta-punta ka dito sa States, wala ka palang pera. Okay? So, okay. Okay, so, okay. Nung po isang Spanish coach, okay? Yun ang pero I recall na napakakulit ko. Instruction lang sa amin noon. Okay, punta kayo dyan. If you have any question, raise your hand. Okay, doon kami sa reserve section ng gym. And during the 1 hour session, first 1 hour, I already raised my hands 3 times. Ang kulit ko eh. Okay? And then, after, to make a story to that first session, siguro nagtanong ako mga 5 times. Okay? And then ultimately, on this third day, sinabi niya, okay, Joe, I think you are very interested. You ask good questions. Sit down here. Pinaupo niya na ako sa bangko. Okay. And then, one thing that I learned from is, as I've said, he was a good motivator. He was a good strategist. Okay. And it's very good in mental games. Okay. He's an innovator. Okay. As far as teaching the game, maybe it's not as great as John Wooden or his assistant coach. because his assistant coaches did a lot of teaching, but on strategy making, okay, rules making, management of the team, Bobby Knight was a great one.
Mhm.
No.
Talagang strategy siya.
Iba yung personality, tsaka
And when he
malaking
you know,
tao si Bobby Knight eh, di ba? Malaking tao yun eh.
yeah, 6'7". Alam mo, Bobby Knight, he's an innovator. He was the one who introduced the concept of man-U ball in basketball. Okay? Ibig sabihin yun, man-U ball, okay? Because there is only one instance in basketball wherein the defensive man is in front of his man in the goal. Okay? That's only when you are defending against the ball carrier. When you are not defending against the ball carrier, you should be in the opposition. Your man, you, and the ball. For you to know where the ball is and your man. That's what you call as man-U ball. Bobby Knight introduced that, the concept of man-U ball. Okay?
Mhm.
And alam mo, nung introduce yun, nanibago ang American basketball, I think he went in so many victories and they won a championship. And then after so many years, okay, sabi lang, tapos si Bobby Knight, laos na yan. Okay, tapos na yung man-U ball. He came out with the motion offense. Okay. So I think Bob, if ever he did that introduce motion, conceptualize originally the motion offense, he was a great contributor to the motion offense. Okay. He was an innovator.
Yeah.
Matanong ko lang, Coach Joe, iba yung sinasabi nila, Bobby Knight had a very fiery personality. Did you already have a fiery personality as a coach before you went to Indiana, or nangyari na lang yun after nakilala mo si Bobby Knight? Coach, did you hear my question?
Ayun.
Yeah. Alam mo,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
admit to you, Bobby Knight is a fiery coach. Ako naman, I don't consider myself fiery. Kundi maybe I would only say that I'm a very intense coach. Okay?
Mhm.
And I like to play as hard as I coach.
Yeah. Yun yung expectation mo sa mga players mo, no? You want to do the slides already, Noel, before we start
Yeah,
showing
let's
Coach
do
Joe
that.
the photos?
We're at the halftime mark anyway of the program right now. So once again, we'd like to invite everybody to watch our sister show, Who the Heck Are We? They do have Coach Franco Rulloda up next on episode 58 about MMA life and the values of coaching and refereeing. Actually, Coach Franco is also becoming one of the broadcasters, of course, of the MMA scene as well. Catch that on Who the Heck Are We? Episode number 58. And another one of our sister shows is Hang Time with Denise Dinsay. And I will do my best to say this name right now with Chu Ingiga. Ingiga. Tama, Ingiga. Basta his first name is Chu. That's all you need to know. All right, so that's with Hang Time with Denise Dinsay. Catch that also right here on the Globally Ballin Network. And speaking of the Globally Ballin Network, we do have all of these. Follow the Globally Ballin Network on these social media accounts, on the website, and as well as the shows on YouTube that you can catch. Of course, An Eternity of Basketball is one of them. And An Eternity of Basketball is both in video form and in audio form. And you can check out, of course, the most popular episodes of An Eternity of Basketball. Number one pa rin yung Pidong Harencio, mahabol na yung Vic Sanchez. The Chito Loy Saga episode was also pretty good. Freddy Hubalde and Elmer Reyes, two people that you didn't think would be madaldal. Lumabas yung daldal nila on this show. So those are the most popular episodes of Who the Heck Are We on YouTube. Subscribe there as well. And Globally Ballin Southeast Asia. Subscribe also. And like and follow Globally Ballin Southeast Asia for all things Globally Ballin right here on this side of the world. And of course, we do have. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, that's it. Kasi akala ko maglilink 3 pa tayo.
Si Sid, who's not with us yet, diba? As Noel has prepared a slideshow of photos from your career, Coach. We'll look at them one by one, but we'll also talk about other topics. No, let's show the first photo, Aaron, please.
So Coach Joe, of course, started out as a player, played for UP, then eventually became the coach. Now, Coach, ano masasabi mo dito sa litratong ito?
San Miguel to di ba?
Yes, Coach, that's right.
San Miguel Corporation team yan. Alam mo,
Tama.
ang tagal na nito. Okay? Sining Ramos, bata pa dyan eh. Okay? Tapos kung makita nyo sa litrato nga na ang siya karamihan ng press galing NU, FEU, Alam mo, pinaka-sikat na player dyan was si Nonong Roa, Olympian yun during that time eh. He came from FEU. Yeah.
Okay. Asan si Coach Joe sa picture na ito? Asa kayo dyan, Coach Joe?
He is the third from the right, I think.
Yeah, third from the right.
Standing up. Oh.
Standing up, yeah.
To the right, to the
Yeah.
right, to the right.
Ano
No,
number?
one more.
Ano number?
Number 5, number 9, number 8.
Hindi ko makita masyado eh.
Oh, yeah, that one. That's the guy. So the guy
Yeah.
in the white shirt, and then the next, and then pangatlo siya from the right, Coach Joe.
Yeah.
Grabe Yan yung mga ano ba,
Oo.
may sinturon pa yata yung uniform nung panahon eh. Parang may buckle
Sobra
pa yun,
na
eh,
ba?
di ba?
Wala na bang garter nung 60s? 60s na yan, ano?
Garter na ba yan? Garter na.
Garter na, 60s na yan, ano ka ba?
How tall coach was that tall guy in the middle?
Mga 6'5 yan, 6'6 eh.
Wow.
Si De Los Santos
Really
yata
big.
yan, di ba?
Ang laki nung panahon na yun. Yes, it says
Yeah.
Ard de los Santos. Ard de los
Pero-
Santos.
He was heavy. Malaki yan. He was heavy.
Mhm.
Big boy. So at least there's that's the one photo we could find from your playing days
Oo nga eh.
na nakuha namin. No?
Wala
Wala
pa
action
yung-
shot.
Oo. Tsaka wala pa yung Visayan invasion kasi eventually San Miguel Braves. Karamihan na naglaro na sa San Miguel doon were players from Cebu and the Visayas region. Ano? Doon sumikat yung Braves doon eh.
That's right.
Sila nag-take over sa amin.
Oo, sila Paner and
Paner,
those guys, no?
Martires.
Mr. Estrada. Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
That's right. Sila yung pagkatapos doon. So, yeah, I'm sure you have fond memories of that. And that's a great photo, no? To
Isa pa,
preserve-
Coach Joe, gano'ng katagal yung career niyo sa Mika? How many years did you play?
2 years lang. Dahil after that, I worked with a multinational company and I was assigned in the province. So,
Okay.
stop my basketball. May play
Sapi-sapi yung pasok.
basketball.
Itong team na to, is 11 players lang ang bilang dyan. Were you really just 11, coach, or may kulang hindi sumipot dun sa photoshoot?
11. 12 yan, di ba? 12. Hindi, 11.
11 lang yung player, 11 lang yung player, 5 sa baba,
Ang
6
wala
sa taas.
wala yata dyan sila Sarto.
Okay, wow. So hindi lang nasipot dun sa picture taking session siguro.
Mag-update lang ako, Charlie. Ano?
Yeah.
Si Sid is not yet here because he's publishing 2 stories right now. Our pole vaulter, si EJ Obiena, had made it to the second round. Has made it to the second round ng pole vault competition dyan sa Tokyo Olympics. Pati na rin si Paalam. Oo.
Okay, nanalo yung boksingero natin.
Oo, lusot na sa next round.
Round
So
of 16.
congratulations sa ating mga athletes.
That's great to hear. Okay, next photo please, Aaron.
Wow.
Ayan.
Where?
I think this is
Uno High School.
Uno High School. Yeah. Well, tell us about
Yeah.
that, coach. Madaming nag-comment kasi when we posted that you're our guest. Then they said, I used to play for a coach in Uno High School and then you won a championship and all of that. Paano mo naman nakuha yung coaching gig dyan sa Uno? And how long were you there?
Well, alam mo, I was then coaching UP, okay? And then the late Ray Tang and Philip who are Chinese, who are basketball lovers, okay? They approached me if I like to coach Uno. And sabi ko, alam nyo, may kahirapan yan dahil manggali ako sa UP, pupunta ako sa Uno. Okay? But, pero coach, pasyal mo muna kami sa Uno. And when I went there, nagulat ako na napakaganda pala ng gym nila. Tapos yung principal owner was napakabait sa basketball. And sabi ko, sige, magko-coach ako ng Uno. Okay? And swerte rin naman yung team na yan. We won the Chongjiang Basketball League for the first time in 1986.
Grabe, 1986 was really a year that you won a lot, ano, coach?
That's a good year for you, coach. 1986.
1986 talaga, no? Pero again, balikan ko lang yung playing career nyo, coach. Of course, everybody wanted to be part of the national team. Wala pang PBA noong time na yon. Did you have an opportunity to become a member of the national team, at least na invite sa tryouts or anything like that?
No, I was not talented enough. I was not good enough to be even a candidate for the national team. Dahil alam mo nun, talagang national team mo talaga selected eh. Okay?
Right.
Saka nang pag tryout pa lang, ang dami nang nanonood sa Philippine team. Sa Diaryo everyday, nandun din yung mga candidates. Talagang napakagaling ko para maging candidate ka na sa national team. I was not good enough to be a candidate for that.
Okay, but what did you take away from all your training as a player? You employed it because you're known, coach, as one of the coaches with the most rigid practice sessions. Yung mga practice mo, parang notorious yan.
Ayaw
People
na
would
pumunta
talk
ni
about
Joey
it.
Guanyo sa practice, di ba?
Oh, maraming ayaw na pumunta sa practice na gumagawa doon ng ekskusa. May mga kwento about Dwayne Salvatierra trying to miss practice and all of that, and all those legendary stories. What made you or what motivated you to hold such tough practices para sa mga players mo?
You know, one of my coaching philosophies, practices should always be harder than the game itself.
Okay. Yeah.
If I've got to compare it with boxing, kita rin mga amateur boxer natin, 3 rounds lang yan, 4 rounds lang yan. Pero kung mispar yan, 15 rounds. Okay? Okay? Yung mga sprinter natin, they're sprinter, the most 100, 200, or 400. Pero nag-sprinting siguro yan sa around 4,000 times. Okay? And then, you know, if you are tough on practice and you could take the rigors of practice, I think you'll be better prepared for the games, mentally prepared for the games. You know, I always believe that, you know, one of the reasons why my practice is harder, I always believe that nobody should sit down. Okay? Coach should always maximize resources. Okay? If he has 2 hours time, he has to be sure that 2 hours time is fully planned, well planned, and fully consumed. If he has 6 baskets, I like to be sure that 6 baskets not just idle. If you've got 15 pieces of basketball, be sure that you make use of it. I always believe in maximizing resources.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Kasi lahat ng naging player ninyo na nag-guest dito have told, you know, about your trainings and how tough it really was. And of course, it did prepare them para sa game proper, no? Pero I remember I was talking to a former player of yours long ago, si JV. And sabi niya, when he joined your team, because he didn't play for you in college, when he joined your team in the PABL, nagulat daw sila, yung mga bagong pasok, grabe yung practice. Unang practice pa lang daw, sumusuka na sila sa takbuhan pa lang and everything. Pero it made them better players naman daw.
Yeah.
Sige, Noel.
Sige, we'll take a look at the next picture. Pero iniisip ko lang, ano bang ginagawa nyo rito, coach, at na-drawingan yung sahig ng Rizal Memorial?
Alam mo kasi, during that time, wala pa yung mga drill board eh. Okay?
Right.
Alam mo, karamihan ng kapwa-coaches ko, during my mga contemporary ko, hindi kami madunong gumamit ng drill board. Okay? Ako naman, kaya ayoko na magdala ng papel doon at saka ballpen sa practice. So I made use of the chalk. Pero alam mo, mas grabe ibang kapwa-coaches ko. Ibang kapwa-coaches ko, daliri lang ginagamit eh.
Tama.
Pero pa nga iba dyan, tansan daw ng beer eh.
Chalk.
Bit daw nila yung tansan ng beer na pinag-inuman nung the night before eh. Yun na yung tao-tao nila eh.
Yan ang mga style namin.
So ito nga, ito yung mga early croquis na ginagawa nyo rito. At, do you remember what team you were coaching at this point, Coach Joe? UP na ba ito?
Hindi ko makita kung ano uniform nila eh.
Hindi kita eh. Sa dami ng na-coachan ni Coach Joe, mahirap ng...
Yeah.
Unless kita yung mga players, it's hard to say. No?
Pero ito na nga, yung croquis sa sahig, medyo legendary ng kuwang yan.
Well, yung mga terms nga na ganyan.
Kaya natatawa ko dyan.
Sige, Coach.
Alam mo, natatawa ko dyan eh. Alam mo, nagbabaon talaga ako ng chalk. Okay? Minsan mahaba pa yung chalk, nilalagay ko sa bulsa ko. Pag uwi ko yung bulsa ko, punong-puno ng chalk.
Tapos maliliit na, nagputol-putol na.
Nadurog na.
Nadurog na. Yeah, sure. Iba yung mga style talaga back then. No? These were the days in the 80s. Pwede pa. Yung mga coach, nag-yosi pa on the sideline, di ba?
That's right.
So it doesn't happen anymore. But Coach, I have a question. No? Since we got that, yung mga croquis in the terms, and of course, you're known. Everybody commented when we posted that you're the guest. Pongala-ngala and all of that. No, all these terminologies that you would use during the games, no? Without having to tell us what the strategy
Barak,
was and what
sibat,
the
yung mga ganun.
the barako and the pokpok
Oo.
and the bulaga and all of that.
Batman pa, Batman.
Yeah, how did you come up with all of these terms and di ba, what's the story behind all of that?
Well, alam mo, yung salitang pongala-ngala, okay? It all started when I was still playing for UP. Okay? May isa kaming player na pangalan Pong. Okay? Kaya ko tawag, Pong! Tapos, dadagdagan na, ngala-ngala mo. Okay? That's how pongala-ngala started. Now, yung mga terms sa mga barako, ganyan, bulaga, okay? During international competition, pag ginamit mo salita, mga English, okay, baka medyo maintindihan ako sharp yung coach eh. Kaya ginagamit namin yung mga salitang hindi lang maintindihan. At the same time, we coined words na mag-i-stick sa kanila. Katulad ng bulaga. Pare, bulagayin mo na yan. So, sompres yun. Ibig sabihin, bubulagayin natin.
Okay.
O pag sinabing barako, ibig sabihin ng pare, 5 seconds to go na lang, wala akong mapasahan ng bola. Ihagis ko na itong bola ito. Barakoin mo na yan para makuha mo bola.
Yung pala yun.
How we came out with the swords.
Ano yung Batman, coach? May narinig din ako natin Batman.
Yung Batman ay hindi ko matandaan yung Batman yata kasi parang lumilipad eh. Or what eh.
Okay.
Hindi ko matandaan yun.
Yung kailangan ko itanong kasi nag-comment nga si Arnold Adlawan, no, when we posted yung kay Coach Joe. Si Arnold Adlawan, former youth player natin yan. Sabi niya meron din silang play yung pokpok. Ano naman yung pokpok, coach? Gusto marami ni Noel yon. Mahilig diyan eh. Mahilig yan. Sa play. Mahilig sa play. Sa play, hindi sa pokpok.
Pag sinabi na natin pokpok, pare, yung gwardiya mo ginagawa ang asintan, pokpokin mo na.
See, so yun yung mga terms and people were asking about that, and it's really a colorful. It added to the color in your coaching career. People actually mimic you saying these lines, no? And we can imagine you saying that in this picture as you're telling your team know what to do. You're using all those terms. What's the next photo, Aaron?
Well, I just want to say that there are a few players of Coach Joe who are watching. Si Jojo Villa, nanonood din ngayon sa atin. Si Coach Jojo Villa. Pati na rin si Coach Alan Kaidik, nanonood na rin sa atin ngayon, Coach Joe.
Some of your former guys are watching, no?
Yeah.
So but here's a photo. Yeah. Sige, Noel.
Kasama mo rito, of course, no less than Ron Jacobs. So, gusto ko lang malaman kung anong pinag-uusapan yung dalawa rito.
Well, you see, allow me to say a word for the late Ron Jacobs.
Yeah.
He was a great coach. Okay. He was a good person. Okay. And he loved basketball so much. And I would say he loved the Philippines so much. I would say that he was one of those persons who revolutionized the game. Okay. Ang pinag-usapan namin dyan, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was in the Southeast Asia. To the Southeast Asian Games yan, dito yun sa Pilipinas, we're talking about the training of the SEC boys.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Coach, si Coach Ron Jacobs had a particular fondness for you, no? Particularly during the finals in 1985, yung ESQ team that you were handling against Lager Light, no?
Yeah.
And well, Lager Light, they said, was favored, but your team was also a powerhouse team. So hindi naman kami nagulat na nanalo if you look at the lineups now. But at the time, it was considered an upset that you beat Lager Light. Ron Jacobs was on the panel, the commentating panel, no, for those games, and he kept praising the way you were handling the Lager Light team, no. Can you recall yung finals na yun, Coach? Anong strategy? Kasi may mga nagkwento na rito na player ng Lager Light na meron ka daw parang secret weapon or secret strategy na sinabi, no, during the press conference or something. What was that about? How did you beat the Lager Light team?
Well, alam mo, first of all, nachamba lang namin ng Lager Light na, no? Derek Pumarin was a great coach. He was a great coach. I consider him a great coach. Okay, nachamba lang namin ng Lager Light. There's a scouting namin. We found out that they're a point guard oriented team. In other words, everything, their offense would start by the point guard getting the ball. Okay? And sabi ko, alam mo, itong makatatapos, ang Lager Light during the time was like a machine. Okay? Pag yan po, pinagtrabaho na parang makina talaga, bubugbugin tayo niyan. So, we thought of, paano ba natin didistrong kayo itong makina to? Okay, bakit hindi natin sirain yung starter? And then since their starter was the point guard, we denied the point guard. All throughout the game, pagkuha ng baller la, we deny kagad natin ng point guard. Okay? And that was one of the things that we did. And sabi nga ni late coach Ron Jacobs, we came well prepared for that team. And then also, allow me to mention that during that time, okay, I was very fortunate, okay, na during by that time, element of surprise to the Dunay. If you would recall during that, in one instance during that time, our center then, Imo Valerio, graduated. He suffered this 5 falls or team falls.
5 falls.
5 falls, okay. I think it was a few seconds to go or what. And then he was playing 6'5", and then what I did was to put in Ronnie Magsano.
Okay.
With instructions to Ronnie. Ronnie, pag libre ka, ipukul mo. Okay? And so when they entered the court, everybody was surprised. Okay? Dahil biglang pumasok, biglang nagdalawang point guard. And si Ronnie was there. And Ronnie Magsano took a shot. And we won and he made it a 3-point shot.
Mm-hmm. Wala, iba talaga si Ronnie
Hindi
Magsanok.
chamba yun, coach, kasi yung Ronnie Magsanok, yun naman talaga trabaho niya sa'yo eh.
There? Can you hear? Okay.
I don't know. Sige, let's check out the next photo na. So again, that's iconic.
Yeah,
ito mas iconic ito kasi ang babata pa ng mga kasama mo rito, Coach Joe. Ayan, makikita natin, katabi mo, batang-batang Eric Altamirano to your left. I think that's Ramil Cruz, right beside Eric Altamirano. Oo.
This is not the championship team, no? This is not the championship team.
I think this is the 84 team, ano?
Yeah, 84 team to.
Yung katabi mo sa kanan, coach, sino yun? You're right. You're right.
Si Joey Mendoza nga.
Di ba, si Joey Mendoza, si Eric Altamirano, si Ricky Dandan.
Oh, si Ricky yan. That's Ricky. To your right is Ricky. Grabe, iba na itsura talaga. It's been a long time.
Right.
But your memories, this is the team that was being developed, no? Eventually in 86, you won it. Must have been one of the most, am I correct to say one of the most exciting parts of your coaching life was the UP 84, 85, 86 at that time?
Yeah. You know, during that time, andyan si Monselis, di ba? Okay. During that time, our best shooter was during that time, our best shooter was Monselis. And may play kami nung palagi, all screens, maybe tinatakbo ko yung patterns nun, all screens for Monselis. And one of the players there, yung matangkad sa likod, okay, si Manny Garcia, kung tawagin namin yung pader, pag yan nag-set ng screen talaga, parang dalawang tao may screen. Okay? And tapos isang nasa likod naman yata, si Ray Madrid. Okay? Si Manny Garcia really was willing to sacrifice his body. Pag in-screen si Simon talaga, Simon pwede pa magkape bago tumira eh. And then Ray Madrid was also there. He was a very one of the most intelligent players during that time.
Ang ganda eh. Ganda talaga mga uniforms, yung mga style dati. Iba talaga. Nakakatuwa eh.
Pero again, ang daming naging coach dito sa ano na to, Altamirano, si Ricky Dandan, Ramil Cruz, yan yung mga ano eh, naging the next generation of Joe Lipa eh, yung team na yan eh. But of course, that all changed, Coach Joe, eventually in 1986, nung na-recruit nyo na finally, itong si Benji Paras out of San Beda. When you got Benji Paras in 1986, did you feel na kompleto na ang armas mo to win a UAAP championship?
Well, hindi, alam ko na hindi na kami donut team because during all of most of the years that I was coaching UP, we were always a donut team. Alam ko noon na hindi na kami donut team, okay?
No
Kaya tingin ko may laban na kami.
Yeah. And Benji was the man, no? He was the guy who changed things talaga para sa iyo. And then he was so dominant, no? Even until he went to the PBA. Was he the funny guy that he is? Was he already like that back then?
Alam mo, si Benji, masiyang kasama yan. Pero alam mo, yung pagkasaya sa labas ng court ni Benji, siya namang pagdating sa court, iba klaseng tao yung si Benji. Ang lakas ng katawan ni Benji, parang bato-bato yan. There was one practice wherein I was teaching him how to set screens. Nagkamali ako ng ikot, tumama ako kay Benji, nakakita ako ng Australia. Ganon katigas ng mga muscle ni Benji.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Benji is by nature an entertainment. When he was playing for Philip Sardines, okay, hindi pa uso rin yung mga host yung mga guest para sa pag-party. Okay? Doon, konting kain na tapos inuwan na, pag ginawa ka na ni Benji ang mic, entertained na kami lahat. Kwento na yan, lahat. Tawahan na kami ng tawan. He was really a born comedian. Natural Benji yan.
That's right. Pero kung maglaro naman, talagang he gives his all, no? Lakas maglaro talaga ni Benji back then.
Naalala ko lang kasi hindi maalala to ni Coach Joe. Actually, nakwento ko lang sa'yo dati, Coach Joe. Nag-tryout ako sa Philips noong 1987. Nagpa-open tryouts ang Philips doon sa Dumlao Gym. Tapos may isang sitwasyon na kailangan ko lusutan yung screen ng Benji Paras. Nakita ko yung hita palag ng Benji Paras. Sinabi ko, sige na, haya ko na tumira yung bantay ko. Masasaktan lang ako rito. Nilabanan ko itong screen na to. Obviously, I did not make the team.
Yeah.
Benji, I would describe him as Benji was a phenomenon.
Well, speaking of Benji, sabi niya, the first time, Benji Paras said, the first time I saw Joe Lipa, he said, okay ka, pero hindi ako believe sa'yo. Yan ang sabi mo raw kay Benji. Okay ka, pero hindi ako believe sa'yo.
That's a part of psyche. Dahil mo, si Benji noon, lahat nire-recruit, pinagkagulo si Benji noon, no? And right from the start, sinabi ko na, okay, hindi ako believe sa'yo. For him to be an open mind and to challenge, to prove wrong.
Yeah, no? Hindi ako believe sa'yo. That's according to Benji Paras. This came from a UP magazine.
And of course, the writer of that article was Sid Ventura, by the way.
Sid Ventura wrote this?
Kaya siningit niya. Kaya
maganda pagkasulat. Kaya ba niya siningit yan? Okay.
Kaya siningit dyan. Magbigyan na natin.
There's lots of personal messages. With regards to my mentor, Ninong Joe from Milton U. Si Milton U. Tapos si Ramil Fernandez, I'm following coach from Bacolod. Diba? Dami mga players na
si Milton U.
Yung isa naman from Bacolod, Ramil Fernandez. I'm following coach. Sabi niya from Bacolod. So ang dami, kanina pa yan, I've been seeing the messages, di lang natin nababasa lahat. Thank you for all the messages from our followers. So, well, Benji Paras, obviously, eventually, nabilib naman tayo kay Benji Paras kahit papano at he got us the championship in 86, no? And
pero going back to 86, coach, maraming nagsasabi, you're talking about the championship against UE, but UP was almost eliminated sa semifinal round, if I'm not mistaken. If that's not right, for the heroics of Ramil Cruz. Ramil Cruz yung nagpanalo.
Okay.
Anong kwento mo, coach?
Allow me to give you a little background on that 86 team. During that time, ang UP Press na who were with the national team were Ronnie Magsano, okay, Eric Altamirano, and I think Joey Guanyo or what. I'm not so sure about that. Joey Mendoza.
Sa youth pa yata si Joey Guanyo, no, coach?
Yeah. Tama pa. We went to Korea, okay? And butas na butas ka yung UP noon, okay? At sabi niya, meron kami dalawang game noon na kailangan panalo. May isang game ako noon, ang UP noon na maglaro kami. We will play against Adamson. Kung natalo kami na sa Adamson, okay, wala na kami. Hindi lahat na nangyari noon. Okay. During that time, and I give credit to him, ang nag-coach ng team noon, and he did a good job, is Nonong Araneta.
Okay.
Now, the head of the Football Federation.
Chief of Mission.
That's right.
and the chef de mission. He was then our physical conditioning trainer, and he coached the team, and he won that game. Kung natalo tayo noon, ang UP noon, wala out of the running na. And then we went fast track tayo. Kailan namin talo ng FPU bago na kalaban ng UP. Okay? And I recall 8 seconds to go. Okay. Down kami by 1 UP ang 1 point. And at the same time, kanila pa bola. Okay, now may play kami noon at influensya namin ng bola sa isang lugar and then we'll try to steal the ball. Okay? The players did everything right. Hindi namin naagaw ang bola. Tumingala ako sa taas. Sabi ko, ito yun divine intervention yun. Tumingin ako sa taas. God, we did everything. Ikaw na bahala. Pagbaba ng ulo ko, alam mo ko, nakita ko, si Ramar Cruz nag-drip na.
Inagaw na.
Sabi ko, Ramil, huwag kang madadapa, Ramil.
Oo nga.
Hindi basket.
Oh, kasi yung momentum niya, di ba, parang mahuhulog, parang madadapa talaga siya doon sa pagkuha niya ng bola eh. He looked like he was gonna fall.
But he made the layup and UP won.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yun yung talagang the rest is history kasi umabot ka ng finals tapos nanalo against a tough UE team, no, with Jericho Diniera as the center.
Yeah.
Pero
Sige, what's our next photo? We might be going to that already. Well, actually, ito national team na ito.
yes. And you talk about
Pero
national
again,
team.
Yeah. Yung 86 team na yun, that was the first championship of UP in siguro since the Jurassic days. Pero anong pakiramdam nun, Coach, when UP finally won the championship? You were about to resign as a coach of UP and then a few years later, nakuha nyo si Benji Paras, the final piece of the puzzle, tas na-champion. How was it like in the UP community nung nakuha natin yung kampyonato noong 1986?
Alam mo, Noel, allow me to say this. With your apologies to you, never did I thought of resigning from UP until 1986. There were some people, as I mentioned to you earlier, who were after my neck. Okay? And
Yun. That's what I meant.
Okay, natin po coaching sa UP. But I really was bent that I won't leave UP until I give them a championship. Okay? Yun ang nangyari, no?
Mission accomplished, no? How were you chosen, Coach? Paano ka naman naging national team coach? Who spoke to you and asked you to handle the national team duties?
Well, alam mo, ang kumuha sa akin noon was the late Tito Puyat and Moing Martelino. Okay. Alam mo kasi naman siguro noon, maganda siguro performance na namin, lahat ng teams na nawa ko, medyo lumalaban sa championship, kundi man mag-champion. And I was fortunate na I was named as the head coach. Alam mo, yung 1986 team na yan, alam mo, I think yan ang pinakawawan team sa Diaryo noon. Pupug sarado kami noon. Okay? They were, ewan ko, natatandaan yun, they were saying na sa Asian Games niya maglalaban, 12, pakilaming 3 Pilipinas. Okay? Okay daw kami.
Sobrang naman.
So, that happened. Because we were taking over the NCC.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
Sabi ko,
pressure.
Okay. But the team survived. They took everything in stride. They worked hard. And we won the golden bronze. That's what they did.
Kailangan mo tanong, Noel, yung usual, yung daalan kay Dick shot.
Before that, yung composition muna ng team na ito, Coach. This is not probably, if you look at the team now, and siguro if you're media member in 1986, makita mo yung formation ng team. Yung nakuha nyo lang galing sa NCC noon, yung kay Dick, Samboy Lim, at Elmer Reyes, lahat ng iba galing college na. So, how did you form this team na yung na-inherit nyo lang sa NCC? Tatatlo siguro, isama mo yung Codinera, 4 players out of the 12. How did the team form?
Drag na naman.
Oo.
Yeah, meron na may lag na naman. But that really,
this
happens, no? But we have these internet problems occasionally sa show, no? But hopefully we get back on track.
Ayan, okay.
Medyo gumagalaw-galaw na si Coach.
Coach Joe, did you hear my last question? Coach Joe?
Alam mo, yung team na yan, matagal lang
Yeah,
tryout namin dyan. Abot yata. Hello?
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead,
Yes, sige,
Coach.
Coach. Go ahead. Umabot ng
Hello?
ilang, ano? Yes,
Mel,
Coach.
Yeah. Coach, go ahead. Go ahead. You're saying about the formation of the
yung
team.
team nito, matagal lang tryout siya. Inabot yata kami ng 2 linggo bago ma-forma yung team na yan eh. Okay? You know, even before the team was formed, it's a revolution nun. Tinawagan ako ni Ron, the late Ron Jacob. Sabi sa akin, Joe, I think you will be the one to take over my position. Okay? And I called you to congratulate you. You deserve it. And I like to tell you one thing, that maybe some of the SC players won't play for the team anymore. Okay? And to read up, ang naiwas sa akin was Samboy Lim, Alan Kaidi, at si Elmer Reyes. They still play for the national team.
Right.
At tapos lahat yan, panay college players na eh. Dahil nga original plano dyan, dapat yan ang ilalaban, yan ang gagawin nating youth team. Para dahil December of the following year was the youth competition. Okay? Na ginawa dito sa Pilipinas, if you would recall.
Yes. Tama. Do you recall, Coach, how many players tried out, or did you ask to work out before you finally came up with this final 12? Coach?
Okay, so we have another lag here with Coach Joe. Yung recollection ko nitong team na to, as Coach Joe mentioned, yung 3 NCC, but you also had the 2-point guards from UP. Pumasok din dito, si Altamirano at saka si Magsano. I think we have Coach Joe back. Coach Joe, yun, may tanong si Charlie. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, do you recall how many players attended the tryouts before you were able to cut this down to 12?
Alam mo, dami-dami yan. Tagal yan eh.
Dami.
Winabot yata ng 50 yung tryout dyan eh. Dahil we declared an open tryout eh.
Yeah. And then you ended up with these guys. No, did you develop any special relationships with any of these players? Parang not necessarily favorite mo or whatever, pero sino pinaka naging close sa'yo among this batch of players we see on the photo right now?
Nandito si Alvin, di ba? Nandiyan na si Alvin.
Yan lang, Coach.
Hello?
Sige, Coach.
Hello? Yan. Alam mo lahat yan, naging kaibigan ko. Okay? And until now, we still communicate with each other. Okay?
Yeah.
Pero lahat sila naging kaibigan ko. Nobody special.
Okay. Okay. And then, go, Noel, yung alam mo na yun, yung tanong.
Coach, of course, alam naman natin kung ano nangyari ng semifinals of the 1986 Asian Games. Going up against Korea, lamang ng 2 puntos ang Korea noon, tapos last possession napunta sa atin. Fast break, Philippines, yung Alan Kaidi kami hawak ng bola, bumangga sa isang Koreano, pasok yung kanyang tira, akala natin, lalamang na Pilipinas kasi sure ball na si Alan sa free throw. Offensive foul at tinawag kay Kaidik. So we ended up going for the bronze medal. So ano yung recollections mo doon sa final play na yung coaches from the bench, ano?
You know, if I would recall, there was a point there, iniiwan ka na Korea, naging ayos sa atin by double digit eh. And then we ordered the zone press. We were able to reduce their lead by 1 point. At tanda ko yung si Alan, libre, nagdidribble ng kaliwa, libre-libre, nasarap niya yung tao. Nasa kanan, 8 seconds ago, was Samboy Lim. Walang tao. Okay? Alam mo, kung madunong lang nag-behind the back pass si Alan Kaidik noon, na behind the back finals. Pero nangyari nga siguro, baka hindi pa wala pa tiwala si Alan na magpasa ng hindi pa diniretso niya. But it could go either way. Pero siyempre, data charging, blocking talaga.
Yun yun. Eh, sabi nga ni Ronnie Nathaniels, who was calling the game at the time, there are 6 players for Korea on the court. Alam mo naman si Mr. Ronnie noon eh. But still, that was a golden bronze because nobody really expected an all-college team.
Yeah.
Zero.
Alam mo naman kasi,
Go ahead, Coach.
Noel, Charlie, yan team na yan, I would say darling of the crowd sa kahit saan magpunta. Yung team na yan,
So, yeah.
I remember kahit sa Korea, they were the darling of the crowd. Kahit saan magpunta yung mga team, ang dami, lalo ng mga chicks. Okay? Pati mga Koreano, sinusundan sila. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know kung may charisma siguro karamihan ng player. Kahit dito sa Pilipinas, I remember noon, when we were still training for this team, yung Rizal Memorial, we were training at 6 to 8 in the morning. Yung Rizal Memorial, isipin mo, during the time napupuno ng mga nanonood. Okay? There was a time talagang distraction Sabi ko doon sa gwardiya, isara mo yung gate, huwag kang magpapapasok. Ang daming tao nagalit sa akin.
Yeah. Yeah, kasi naman may Jolas ka, may Jerry, may Alvin. Diba? Mga heartthrob talaga yung mga yan.
Yan, alam mo, yung team naman na yan, pati sa mga Koreana. Alam mo yung team na yan, even sa Korea, they were very, very popular. Kahit saan kayo magpunta, talagang global siguro, may charismatic mga players. Lahat sila sinusundan.
Coach, ang tanong ko naman, Coach, was this the best team you ever coached? Itong 86 team na to. Was this the best team? Itong 1986 team, yeah. Was this the best team that you ever handled or you ever coached?
Mahirap sabihin, mahirap ako para lahat yan, But I would say that this team, okay, ang the team, okay, they were grabe bugbog sarado sa media, okay, lahat binubugbog kami, we were very unpopular when we were starting, pero sa mga chicks talaga dahil pa rin sa amin kahit unpopular kami, okay, talaga nahirapan sila, and all of them are winners.
That's right. Winners talaga. You look at that lineup and everybody had success sa kanilang mga basketball careers at one time or another, What's next on the list?
No, before we leave the photo, can we go back to the photo, Aaron?
Sorry.
I'll just run down the team just for those who have not who don't recall the members of the 86 team, which I've always been very vocal about, which is still my favorite national team of all time. Itong 1986 team na to. You had guys like Alvin Patrimonio, Ronnie Magsanok, Jojo Lastimosa, Elmer Reyes, Alan Caidic, Samboy Lim, Dindo Pumaren, Eric Altamirano, Glenn Capasio, the Codinera brothers, si Harmon saka si Jerry, and the late Jack Tanuan. Ganun ko kamahal yung team na yan. Kabisado ko pa rin sila. From 4 to 15 ko po sinabi yun, yung mga numero nila. And coached, of course, by the legendary Coach Joe Lipa. For me, one of the best, if not the best national team na form natin dito. With all due respect to the Gilas program right now, this is still, for me, one of the best national teams ever. And I think Coach Joe will probably say, may punto ka dyan, Noel.
Yeah. Hindi, alam mo, talaga naman. At saka, all amateur yan. All amateur.
Yeah.
All Filipino, all amateur. Happy grade.
Tama. Galing.
Okay.
Mga legends.
Now let's move on to the next
Dami na nag-guest dito. Ito yon, The Impossible Dream is colored maroon.
Yes.
Ito yung championship, Coach. This is the championship season.
86 na to, UP na to, no?
Oh, yeah. Yan yung championship.
Yan yung trophy. Hawak niya na yung trophy dyan. Of course, this was the day after. Kasi yung Eric Altamirano, fresh pa dito. Kasi nangyari kay Eric Altamirano, after winning the championship in 86, tumakbo pang Rizal Memorial para maglaro sa PBL. PABL noong time na yun. Pero again, Coach, going back, looking at these images again, mula noong 1986, anong bumabalik sa inyong isipan about the struggle of UP to attain that 1986 UAAP championship?
alam mo, yung mga players ng UP who they really struggled hard, okay? Dahil alam mo, during that time, okay, wala pa rin naman kayo masyadong resources noon, okay? May mga tao na tumutulong, pero hindi malayo kumpara mo doon sa iba, okay? And this team, okay, they really work hard, okay? They budgeted whatever money that we did have, and talagang ang ensayo namin nung dahil sabi ko, kumpleto sa Ricardo's team ngayon, I see no reason why we cannot win the championship. Pero sa sarili ko lang doon. Dahil I don't like to pressure the boys. Kasi katira sa, just play hard. Yan ang sinasabi ko sa kanila.
Right.
Well, again, yan na. That was the championship ng UP in 1986. Architect, of course, was Joe Lipa. Then eventually, ano ba to, Charlie? Was this the PBA already?
Out to prove and skip test. Which team is this ba? Which photo is this? Mukhang ano pa rin ito no? Amateur pa rin
Sa
yan.
amateur ranks. Punta na natin yung...
Oh, that's another cover. You made the cover so many times, Coach. Just sa mga sports weekly na yan and everything. But
Weekly
eventually,
is one of the best.
Coach, nagkasabay-sabay actually yan. No? You were coaching UP, then you coached the national team, and then you also coached in the PBA for the first time in 1986. You entered with Manila Beer. The agreement was if kung kukunin ka ng RP team, you leave Manila Beer. But you had that initial stint with Manila Beer. Eventually, you coached Shell as well. And then much later, you even joined Air 21. What's the difference? What's the main difference, Coach, between coaching the amateurs and the professionals?
Sa amateur, you've got to be more of a teacher. You've got to do a lot of teaching. Okay? Kailangan to you should their talents, you should complement them by providing them all the skills that they needed. Okay, in the process, we should be more of a leader, a strategist. But nowadays, I think you should be a coach in the program should be more of a teacher now because of young players. That's the big difference.
Well, ito nga itong picture. So Shell na to. Shell Azodri. Asocord pala. Ito Shell Asocord.
Asocord. That's right. Asocord. Romy Ang, Leo Ostri at Totoy Marquez. Sino nasa kaliwa?
14.
14.
Hindi paras yan eh.
Oo nga. Yung 14 bago magparas yan. Hindi ko mabasa yung apelyido.
Di ba si Tano yan? Tano Salazar?
Hindi eh.
Parang letter A yung last na letter.
Herrera. Paul Herrera.
Paul Herrera. Kaya nga 14. Tama,
That is Paul Herrera. Di ba? Okay.
Coach, matanong ko lang sa iyo, when you were coaching then, dyan na si Leo Austriano, did you have any inkling na itong Leo Austria magiging coach din and probably one of the most successful coaches sa PBA nung hawak niyo siya sa Shell?
Honestly speaking, no. Okay.
Di ba? Okay.
But I know he was a good player and shoot, okay? Yeah. But I have no inkling that he will eventually be a good coach.
Yeah.
At least dyan, point guard pala, sinasabi niya, screen! Kasi point guard siya.
Oo nga, tama yun. Coach, ito tanong ko. Coach, who was the best player you ever coached?
Well, best player that I've ever coached?
Yes.
Mahirap dahil alam mo, lahat sila may emotional attachment ako. Lahat sila may iniisip ko na ano ginawa sa akin. And it's hard for them really to select.
Sige. Let me change it a little, Coach. Who was the smartest player? The guy who absorbed everything you said and could carry it out on the floor? Yung sobrang talino, highest basketball IQ.
I would say Eric Altamirano and Ronnie Magsano.
Sila talaga.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parang wala kang pupuntahan doon. Yun talaga.
Yeah.
Maybe Dindo Pumaren eventually, pero iba pa rin talaga yung dalawa.
Si Dindo is very sharp. Sharp. Ibang klaseng bata rin yan.
Next photo, please, Aaron. Because we're trying to go down. Ito, yung RP is ready. This is the team.
87.
87 to. And some people say that this team was better maybe than the 86 team, but tinan mo yung itsura ni Coach Joe dyan, Batang-bata pa si Coach Joe.
Tignan mo yung itsura ni Joe Iguanyo.
Cute na cute. Diba? Si Joey Guanyo, very cute. Di ba? Baby face si Coach Joey Guanyo dyan eh. But there's Zaldi Realubit. Jojo Villapando, wala silang nahanap na picture na naka-t-shirt siya o nakasando siya. Talagang
Alam mo, Mel, Charlie, may something about this team.
Ah,
Alam mo, if you would recall, okay, there was a time when the PBA was struggling. The first time that we saw this UP the PBA struggling was, I think, in 1984 or 85. Apat na teams na lang sila alas na natitira. Okay? Then came the NCC players. Buhay na naman ang NCC noon. Natagdagan sila ng following because there were new heroes. Hector Calma, sila Isnik na DC. After that, pagsak na naman ng PBA for I think for another 2 years. Diba? Mas naman yung team na to. Okay? They were now the new heroes. Yun kaya tuloy na ang PBA. Pero that there was no looking back anymore for the PBA.
yeah.
Kaya yung dalawang team na yun, yung SCT at yung team na to, ang laki doon sa PBA.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, that's true.
Yes.
And I actually wrote about that recently. How these teams helped boost the PBA, no?
Saka yan yung mga future Hall of Famers halos lahat yung yung nagpasukan na yan
Maybe 10 of them, yeah.
Oh, tsaka nawala na talaga yung NCC connection with just a couple, no?
Well,
Cordillera and that's basically it, no? Dindo kasi di na rin nasama sa
Di ba si
NCC.
Jojo Villapando umabot pa?
Baka yung sa
Saan?
dulo na lang for a very short while, but this was really the transition already when they were moving. Ang galing, sarap tingnan ng mga photos na yan, but we need to move on, no? Kasi you know, it's almost 2 hours na. So this is a Philippine team. Ito yung youth team.
95. No, this is the 95.
Sorry, yeah.
Southeast
May
Asian
Aquino na
Games.
Southeast Asian to,
I
coach.
think-
Kasama mo si Coach Al Francis dito. Jason Webb, Marlo Aquino.
Southeast Asian team yan. Southeast Asia to.
Oh, si Ruben De La Rosa, Rodney Santos, sino pa yung iba dyan? Orquillas.
Baldavid,
Yeah.
Orquillas.
Jomer Ruby ba yung isa dyan?
Yes.
Si
Number
Joe Merobi.
7.
Coach, paano mo na-discover yung
yun
Jomer
na nga
Ruby? Kasi parang he didn't even play in the PBL before you named him to the national team.
Sino? Si
Jomer Ruby.
alam mo yung batang yan. In my books, he's the best passer I've ever coached.
Wow, okay.
Napagaling magpasa niyang batang yan. Okay? Natandaan ko yun, there was a game, okay? May practice game kami. Si Jomer was dribbling. Pinitik lang ni Elmer ni Jomer yung bola. Nakarating kay Rodney. Gulat ako, paano nakarating yung bola doon? Paano nakarating yung bola si Rodney? Coach, hindi ko rin maintindihan. Ibang klase pagpasa si Elmer. Si Jomer. So when may nag-tip sa akin dyan, panoorin mga coach yung batang Jomer Ruby sa Perpetual. So I went to Perpetual. And nakita ko na yan bola kung saan. He's the best passer I've ever played.
Wow. That's saying
Okay,
a lot, kasi
sa dinami-dami ng mga point guards na naglaro kay Coach Joe na magagaling, no? To say that, no? Sayang, hindi lang nag-blossom yung career ni Jomer Ruby sa PBA, no? Sandali lang siya with the Tanduay. Francis, sino nakayakap kay Jason Webb? Si Paul Du ba yan?
yes, Paul Du.
Si Butchoy yan, si Butchoy.
Oh, si Butchoy. Tama. Okay. So, galing ha. Some of these faces I haven't seen in a while.
Kaya nga
Nakakatuwa yung
Angelo David pa yata yung nandiyan, ano?
Long David.
Silong yan, Silong nasa baba.
Long David, and then sino yung inaakbayan ni Marlo? Si Mar Morelos, no?
19 eh.
Oh.
Yeah, sila Morelos yan.
Who are the guys to the left? Is that Arlene Rodriguez? Naka
Yes.
Nike na t-shirt. Coach Arlene. And then who's the next one?
Si Arlene, assistant coach si Arlene dyan.
Oh, and then the next fellow is
Itoy.
Si Banjo?
Itoy. Si
Itoy.
Itoy. Itoy.
Sierra.
I know it. Coach Itoy, right. And then the tall fellow beside is Canton Hos.
Canton.
Chris
Yeah.
Cantonos.
Grabe,
Cantonos.
no? Nakakatawa. Tanduay core yan, di ba? Ruby, Cantonhos,
Al Francis Chua yan eh.
Al
So,
Francis
talagang,
Chua kasi, no? Okay.
maraming tanduay pa dyan.
Yeah.
Oo.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yun
Great.
si
Check out
Okay,
the
next
next photo.
photo,
right
please.
beside this is Ateneo.
Ayun,
Isa pa to.
Ateneo.
Coach
something we
Joe,
need to talk
dumaan din
about.
pala, no? Oo.
Let's talk about that.
Korea yata kami.
Quickly, let's talk about that Ateneo stint.
Tama.
Mac and cheese? Ano?
Ito yung nagiging formative na yung programa ng Ateneo with guys like sila Rich Alvarez, yung Enrico Villanueva, and ito yung transition from sila Paul Tanchi Rainier season papunta na dun sa panibagong grupo. So coach, how did you end up coaching Ateneo at the time?
You know, the guy who into Ateneo was great. Alam mo, matagal na ako pinag-usapan namin Ricky pala yung Ateneo. Okay. When in 1987 or 88, sabi ko, I'm not yet prepared to leave UP. Okay? I'm not prepared to coach for any other college. UP only that I will coach. And then, way back 1999 yata or 1998, Ricky Palo approached me. Joe, this time, huwag muna ako pahindihan. Coach sa Ateneo. Okay? And I think I coached them from 40 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
99 to 2001.
1998 or 1999, pas 3 years yun eh.
Yes.
You know.
Up to 2001.
And, I remember, then I was introduced to Father Tito, and Father Tito told me, okay, Joe, first year, winning season, okay? We just like it to be in the winning season, okay? Second year, maybe you would be in the round of 4. Third year, finals, which I think I delivered much more. Dahil in the first year pa lang, pumasok na kami sa round of 4 eh.
Mhm.
Second year, lumaban na kami sa finals. Third year pa, finals, though we lost.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, but
Okay,
it just seemed weird lang for a lot of people that you were coaching Ateneo in the UAAP instead of
Yeah.
UP kasi syempre yung mindset ng lahat UP talaga, but that was a bit strange.
Nakakapanibago to the senses noon nung nabalitaan ko na.
That's right.
And seeing Coach Joe doing that
Nakakapanibago, coach, na you were coaching Ateneo instead of UP.
99,
Yeah, di ba?
When I
Then
first-
you were
when I
also
first-
raising your fist when they're singing the Ateneo hymn. Parang
No, parang sacrilegious sa UP yun.
parang naano ako noon Hindi matanggap na senses ko Pero coach, tanong ko din sa Ateneo team mo when during your stint there, you mentioned noon sa UP there were people who were always after your job, after your neck. I imagine the scrutiny was more intense sa Ateneo during your 3-year stint there.
You know,
naghang na naman si coach. Oh, sorry, internet
Ayan,
problems.
ayan,
Pero
ayan.
yan. Sige, coach, go.
coach will always be criticized. Sinabi ko nga, hello? Yung nasabi ko
Yes,
nga,
yes.
there are a lot of armchair coaches and Filipinos love the game and they know the game. And marami
Yes.
rin na, maraming detractors sa crap. Okay? I remember one day, we were playing Lasal in the championship. Paupo kami doon sa bangko, papunta kami sa bench namin. Yung mga Lasalista, sinisigaw kami, binubo kami sa harap namin. Pagdating naman namin sa likod, mga tinista naman, binuburi kami. And they were so freaky than that. Coach, mabuti pa Taliban, may kakampi. Dito, wala tayo kakampi.
Oo. Both sides, from all sides. Kaya hirap nung ganun.
Yeah.
Grabe na ng pressure ng pagiging coach. Anyway, what's the
Yeah.
next photo, Aaron? There you
Here.
are giving a
This your
giving
other
a
legacy coach, yung tinayo mong Collegiate Champions League.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, PCL.
Yes. How
That's
did
right.
that come about, coach? Matagal mo ng plano yon, yung unified na Collegiate Championship for the Philippines?
You know, when I was playing, meron pang intercollegiate noon eh.
Hmm.
Okay, tapos wala intercollegiate. And then nobody kasi, at daming liga sa Pilipinas, collegiate leagues all over the Philippines. I think there are easily 20 to 30 collegiate leagues all over the country. Okay, but nobody can say, I am the national champion. Okay, so we decided to put up the PCCL.
And it's done very well, no? It's really maraming enthusiastic about that type of competition. That's what everyone wants, no? Kasi yun nga yung kulang talaga rito, yung national scale. So no, well, kudos to you for that, coach.
Naalala ko lang, idagdag ko lang dyan sa PCCL. That's where I actually got to meet personally si Coach Joe. Kasi yung 2004, ako yata yung unang naglagay niyan sa TV. Nung, as executive producer for Channel 4 pa kami ng time na yon. At kung saan kami inabot ni Coach Joe, trying to discover a lot of players. In fact, the PCCL brought in guys like Samige Eman, etong si JR Kinyahan to the national consciousness. Yung mga players who would have otherwise not gotten
Junmar, di ba?
Eventually si Junmar, pero nag-start kami ng 2004. Mga bida sila Arwin Santos, di ba, yung mga players ng FEU, but from the provinces, yun na nga, sa Miguel Eman, University of Mindanao, tapos dun sa Green Lancers naman, itong si JR Kinyahan, biglang yung nakita nila itong mga to, biglang, meron pa pala mga ganun sa Pilipinas. And again, we credit Coach Joe for and of course Mr. Ray Gamboa, yung partnership nila sa PCCL. Brought in a lot of these players from the provinces.
That's right. So to talk about leaving a lasting legacy talaga, that's one of them, no? How many more photos do we have? Ito. Ano to? Fiery Coach Joe Lipa started chair throwing trend, sabi ni Ronnie Nathaniels.
No,
Mala Bobby Knight talaga.
Context, 2012 to article na ito, and this was published sa old Yahoo Philippine sports site, and this was published a few days after Tim Cone threw a chair sa PBA and he was suspended by I think Coach Chito Salud. So si Sir Ronnie, bless his soul, interviewed Coach Joe about that whole chair throwing, and may mga quotes dyan si Coach Joe. I think he was referring to that incident when you were with Ateneo, Coach, when you threw a chair dun sa during a game because you were disgusted with the referees.
No, please bear with us. No, we're having some internet problems. But Coach Joe, did you see that photo? What's your reaction to that? Yung chair throwing daw sa Ateneo. Wala. May talaga. There's a drag. But it usually fixes itself after a few seconds, no? But right now, naka-freeze.
Talagang medyo mainit pa ulo natin.
Okay.
Sa Ateneo yata nangyari to, di ba?
Yes, Ateneo nga daw,
Coach.
Coach. Yes. Oo. Dahil sa mga referees nga daw.
Well, and again, looking at this next photo, this was at the UP gym, yung ating legendary na sahig dyan na kailangan alam mo kung saan ka magdi-dribble para hindi ka magka-turnover.
Correct.
Yung ating but again yung going back to and having your picture taken in this gym, Coach, and your involvement with UP, how do you summarize your involvement with the University of the Philippines as a student, then as a champion coach, and then going back to the same old gym na kung saan ang dami mong pinaiyak na players sa ensayo nyo? What was it like coming back here? And you can summarize your legacy with UP.
I was fortunate enough to enter UP. Okay, I think that's one of my the blessings that I got. Okay, to be given the chance to study in UP, and I would say that UP, okay, incorporated in me a lot of values, which made me a better man. Okay, marami ako natutunan sa UP both academically and as a person, and it made me a better man. Then it also gave me a chance chance to play to represent uh, to represent the university, and gave me
Mhm. Ayun na naman. Well, don't really know what's happening with the internet. Yun. Sige, coach. Medyo nawala ka na naman ulit. Pero go ahead, coach.
Yeah, looks like the glitch is really taken over. This show.
Well, we're about to end na rin naman, no? Yeah. You want to how do you want to do this, guys? You want to proceed
Well,
with
I'll just we'll probably just have a few more words from Coach Joe, because ang dami pa nating gusto sanang ikwento rito, Coach Joe, but unfortunately we're out of time also dito sa show na ito. So ito na pagkakataon nyo, Coach Joe, to look back and then probably thank the people who have helped in your journey from being a student of UP to being one of the most legendary coaches of the country. Pagkakataon nyo ng magpasalamat sa mga nakasama sa inyong journey as a basketball icon in the Philippines.
Yeah, there's really a drag. But let's give him that opportunity. Yeah, let's give you the opportunity to do the things. Yeah.
Oh, I hope you can hear that question. I don't know if I can phrase the question the same way.
Yeah. Coach, can you hear us?
Yan, Coach. Pagkakataon nyo na magpasalamat sa mga lahat na tumulong sa inyo sa journey nyo dito sa basketball from the start all the way until now.
Wala, it's really... Yeah, we haven't had this in a while, no? Itong technical problems, but now we're having it. Reset na ito. To think, no, we found a better place na for him to take the guesting, no? But there you go.
Yeah.
Ayan, nakabalik na si Coach Joe. Ayan. Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, well, we're having technical problems, no? But Noel has a question. If you haven't heard it yet. Sige, Noel. Pakiulit for the third time. Go.
Last question na lang, Coach. Baka sino yung mga nais nyong pasalamatan sa inyong career, sa inyong journey to becoming from being a student in UP to being one of the most legendary coaches here in the Philippines? Sinong gusto nyong pasalamatan sa inyong basketball journey?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, UP, for giving me a chance to be your student. Okay? Napakaswerte ko na nakapasok ako sa UP. Okay? And thank you so much for all na naging teammates ko doon at naging coaches ko doon. And then thank you so much, Dr. Isidro, for motivating me to coach UP. And I'd like to thank everybody in the UP community who were with us through thick and thin when I was still with UP. But I'd like to thank UP for making me a better man and a better person.
Yeah.
Amen.
UP fight. Yeah.
UP fight. Tama. Tatlo rin kami taga-UP rito na.
Puro tayo taga-UP rito.
Puro kami taga-UP rito. Well, with that, we would like to thank Coach Joe Lipa for his amazing career, for touching so many lives, Coach. Not only your players, pati kami mga fans. Mga fans ng not only of UP but fans of Philippine basketball. You have given so much in terms of contribution to this sport. We'd like to thank you for all you've done for the sport of basketball.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Coach Joe, for everything.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for inviting me to this show.
Yeah. Ako, singit ko lang, si Coach Joe, ninong ko yan sa kasal. He's a very good friend of my father, and noong 1981, Coach, I don't know if you remember when you were first appointed as coach, dumalaw ka sa bahay namin and you wanted to invite my dad to join your coaching staff sa UP, pero he had to decline.
Yeah.
And because he was leaving for Scotland noon for a scholarship. Pero that was the first time I met you. I was only 10 years old noon, and you had just been appointed as coach of UP. So I really wish may picture noon para lang ma-commemorate yung event na yun Pero, ever since then, that was 40 years ago, you've been a part of my life in many ways. Coach. So, salamat for everything.
is a very intelligent man. Your dad is a very good person.
Thank you, Coach. I'll make
Just
sure
like
he
Sid.
listens to this episode.
Just like Sid. Very good and intelligent. Pero, hindi na natin kasi dahil sa technical problems, hindi natin magagawa usual segment natin. Baka magka-glitch kasi sa gitna, X's or O's. Kailangan lang daw itanong. Kaya nga, one question lang, Coach, before we let you go. If you were to choose, are you a Noranyan or a Vilmanyan? Yun lang, yung tanong eh. Nora
Sa'yo,
or
Coach?
Vilma?
Vilma or Nora, wala yata ako pagpipilian doon.
Wala.
Imelda Papin ako eh.
Imelda Papin, ako. Okay,
yun. On that note na yun eh. Pag ganun eh, no?
Sige, Noel, take it away.
Pero again, on that note, Coach Joe, thank you again for all of your contributions to basketball and for touching so many lives, including the lives of the three of us, because of all you did for the sport of basketball dito sa Pilipinas. Maraming salamat for being Joe Lipa.
Maraming salamat.
Yep. And on that note, guys, episode 91 has come to an end here on An Eternity of Basketball. Abangan nyo pong episode 92. Malapit na po tayo sa century mark dito sa ating show that started during the pandemic. Mukhang mag-i-ECQ na naman kayo dyan sa Maynila. So we wish everybody there in Metro Manila good luck sa mga darating na araw dito. Coach Joe, stay safe also. Alam naman natin na itong bagong... yung mga bagong cases natin, it's still rising. So everybody in Metro Manila, thank you. On behalf of my partners dito, si Sid Ventura and Charlie Cuna, broadcasting now from Region 1 here in Ilocos Norte. Ako po si Noel Zarate. We will see you again next Saturday for episode 92 of An Eternity of Basketball. Episode 91 is in the books. Thank you very much once again for joining us. This has been An Eternity of Basketball.
Maraming salamat,
Bye,
Coach.
Coach.
Mabuhay.
Salamat.
Salamat, Coach.
Yeah.